That too. We here once again. Got a very special guest today, Mr. Raider Twan.
What's going on?
What's good? What's good? What's up? Good morning, everybody. Blessings to everybody on today, man.
And we also have the very special Chris for Raiders in the building.
I'm not that special. I'm just one of those guys.
Let's give it up. And, you know, got your boy Jasin in the building. The Sunday Morning Pillaging Show. We here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Mr. President, Mr. Pena. Let me see.
Mr. Pena.
Yes, sir. Ooh, Lakers. That one hurts to say. Lakers in 5.
In 5 years? That's what I can see right now.
Cause they got Luka Doncic.
I'm a Laker fan, so yeah, we'll see.
A broken down LeBron. Sorry, excuse me. My bad.
I gotta say something. This NBA Finals, man, is boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's go Indiana.
It's because the Lakers ain't in it.
Lakers, Boston, the main teams are not in it. The big teams.
No Curry, you know what I'm saying? No LeBron.
No Tatum, no big names. No really big names are in there.
Whoever bet and called these two in the finals is living large right now. Living fat.
Yeah, that's why like a 5,001 bet right there.
That is wild, bro. Like no one would have never saw. That's why I say somebody set that up.
Whoever picked the Pacers to be in the finals got paid.
Yeah.
Because nobody saw that. They picked it, Boston, then maybe New York, but the Pacers, man, they got paid. OKC,
yeah. You know, I'm not saying that I wanted him to get hurt or I like that, but I'm kind of glad that happened because that exposed, like, for the Warriors, like when Curry got hurt, like we don't really Curry covers up a lot of things on our team. And then with him out, everything was exposed of what we had pretty much behind him. It was sad to see. So I hope we do make these moves and you know, we need at least 2 more scores.
I hope you don't because I'm a Lakers fan. So no matter I'm cool with it all.
Like if LeBron wasn't on the Lakers, I wouldn't have as much, you know, towards them. But you know, as long as that man is on that team, you know, he's a poison, man. Like, you know, that's my opinion. And then, like I said, we battled him back and forth, you know, so he's always gonna be enemy, always.
Well, next season is his last season, so we'll see what happens from there.
Thank the Lord. Tell him get out the way.
But enough about bashing LeBron.
My bad.
Not bad. I thought he was going to bash the other guy that used to coach for us.
Yeah, see, that's what I say. We're, you know, competitive Raider Nation. That's what we do. We go back and forth. But this is a fun one for Raider Nation. This is where, you know, week 1 we have the Patriots, and we got our favorite little pincushion and McDaniels. You know, we get to battle him. That's a good enough reason for me to not leave out of there with anything less than a W.
Well, not only we're battling McDaniels, but we're also battling the Patriots themselves because they did take 3 players from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took 3. Was it 3? Was it 3? Twan? I know it was Beeline, and I know it was Jasin. Who else they take?
They have somebody else. I forgot who it is.
Yeah,
Somebody.
they took somebody else.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Epps? Was it Epps or no?
Might have been Epps. Which
Epps.
don't worry about him. But they took the main player from our defense, Spillane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then just the history with them too, from the snow game to the all that. We've been able to beat them the last few times, but it's just like that's a rivalry. That because last year, remember we were figuring out, was it going to be the Saints, was it going to be the Chargers, the Chiefs? What was the first game? And then I think for this one, this has fire to it. You know what I mean? Like you said, they took some players. The McDaniels thing, like we cannot let that clown beat us. And you know what I'm saying? Like just anything involved with him. I know it's just we're not just playing him, but that's enough for me. It's just what he tried to do to our franchise. You know what I mean?
and another aspect of that is that I know I was watching before we hired Pete Carroll and before anything happened. When the season was going to Ray, we'll say let's get Ray Vabro. And I was all on board on that too. Let's get Vabro. But you know what? Soon the Patriots lost their last game. They fired their head coach Mayo 5 minutes later, and then they signed Vabro. Am I saying his name right? Vabro. So
Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Vabro, yeah. So they took the coach that I'm gonna say. When I look at a lot of the content creators and chat and news, that's the head coach you want. And I was on board with that. Hey, let's get him because he did well when he was at Tennessee. They fired him for unknown reasons. So they took basically they went in our back pocket, stole our wallet, and put it back in our back pocket with an empty wallet. No credit cards, no cash.
My bad. They funk it over here. Go ahead.
What say you, Twan? What's your biggest take?
I mean, it's a situation where there's a lot of familiar faces over there. We have. It's not like we have not been completely far removed from some of the things that are still that they tried to do. I'll say it like that. But there's some guys over there, and there's some pieces there that are definitely going to be intriguing in regards to the matchup that we have against them. So we'll see how it plays out. Their their team has some things there. But we'll probably break that down a little later. But definitely this is a matchup that we cannot afford to lose. There's just certain games, I'm out here in the Bay Area, you know what I'm saying? So anytime we play the 49ers, I'm like, hey, we could lose. We could lose, you know what I'm saying? I say it like this, we could lose all season, but we better not lose to this team. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of those games and one of those teams where it's just like if we go and I'm not saying that's what it's gonna be. If we go, 1 in 16, it better be because we beat the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just it's going to be, you know what I'm saying, even before the, even before the McDaniel situation, you know what I'm saying, the Tuck rule is always going to be, the motivation A1 as to why we, don't like the Patriots. There's people that are right now hating our organization because they let a Patriot, get some ownership, in Tom Brady, the small percentage of ownership, some people in Raider Nation still have an issue with that. So the Patriots, that's bad blood no matter how you slice it.
I'm with that because I'm gonna say this. So I'm a USC fan. I'm a Raider fan. I'm a Laker fan. There are certain teams. Okay, we can I'm gonna go USC. So we can win 2 games a whole year. But 2 teams you have to beat. UCLA and Notre Dame. Same the Raiders. Okay, if you guys want to go 3-13 or 3-14, beat the Chiefs once, beat the Chargers once, and beat the Broncos once. Not a satisfying year. But at certain teams, you guys have to beat, no matter how sorry you are. There's teams you have to beat. You know? So I see what you're saying. Beat these guys at least, bare minimum, beat these guys, please.
Yes, definitely. Like, both great takes. Like Twan, like that's kind of dead on too, because that's really how I feel too. You know, it's that was a terrible era of football. You know what I'm saying? Like, just it was just horrible. So and like you said, that's where we kind of had a split with Raider Nation, because there was some that seen the truth, and there was some of us like myself that tried to be optimistic, like, okay, well, he's a Raider now, so let's, support the guy and all this kind of stuff, believing in, oh, well, he's an offensive guy. He knows, so he's going to improve the offense. He's got Devontae. Oh, he brought they brought Devontae Adams. All this, all the different things that we tried to believe in. And, I don't take none of it back, because I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe things will change. I always want to think that things will change, that things are going to get better, that this is the year we're going to make the playoffs. This is the year we're going to get to the Super Bowl. And that is where our downfall was. The critical decision to get rid of DC, not to work it out, where it was all or nothing, where there was no meet in the middle. It was, okay, you're on your side, well, I'm staying on my side, get up out of here. And, it was that right there where we were never stable again. Because, for 9 years or whatever, we were stable at the quarterback position. And after that, that's where it was in and out, in and out. We've had at least 8, probably 7 to 8 quarterbacks already. So
it was so bad, Jacoby had to play quarterback here a couple of plays. So
yeah. Thank God when he was on the Patriots, he was playing quarterback too.
Oh, yeah. Good for him. Good for us.
Good for us. And then for Jacoby, I don't know how he feels about New England. You know what I'm saying? Like, or how he feels about McDaniels, or just how I think I think they were pretty cool, because he brought him here too. Which when you think about it, like, he brought Devontae. This is not me giving him credit whatsoever. But I'm saying, like, they I guess I am, but Jacoby and Devontae, a nice, because when you think about it, like, take McDaniels out of it, but having Devontae, having Jacoby, and damn, I'm blanking on who we had as our third. I know Tucker, but I know there was somebody else.
Renfro was there.
Yeah. So now with that combination, you can win games with that, right? It looked like we were going to win a lot of games with that combination, and really we're supposed to. But I think pretty much, well, we had Josh. There was years we just didn't. There was a lot of things we didn't do enough of. I felt like we should have got Josh more involved in the passing game, because, like, when everything down the field, you've stretched the field enough to let him be able to, he can shake some linebackers. He does it in the backfield. So, like, it was just things that I felt like they weren't doing enough of. They didn't go to our strengths, because we were successful before that. And then after that, we were supposed to build on our successes and build on what we were good at, because we had our playoff run. You would think, okay, this worked, so let's stack it up. Let's build off that. Let's add some pieces here and there, and let's do it again. Instead, we backtrack. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a sad, and that shouldn't have happened, because he broke everything down instead of building off what our strengths were from the season before. He didn't even probably look at none of that. He was just like, I could do it too. Watch, I'll break this thing down and still go to the playoffs. It never happened.
Well, the biggest thing with Josh Jacobs was that they should have signed him immediately. They shouldn't have waited and then franchise tag him. So he lost a lot of those reps in the offseason. He came in, like, not in football shape, might have been in shape, but he wasn't in football shape. So it took him a long time to get started. And just said, well, he's not productive. Yeah, you waited too long to re-sign him. Then you franchise tag him, so he come in late to camp. Okay, well, he's not in football shape. You can't wait till the third week because he didn't get better. Till like the fourth week, he started looking like Josh again. Fifth week, maybe. You started running. By then, it's too late.
But that really wasn't the case in that situation. When you look at the first couple of games, Josh McDaniels was not using Josh Jacobs at all. The usage rate of Josh Jacobs, you didn't even put him out there to get the rust off. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case, so it wasn't necessarily that. Yeah, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he could have been working off. Yeah, he has to get into NFL shape, but you're not even giving him the opportunity to get into NFL shape. So that's why in the surprise in the fourth week, it seemed like Josh Jacobs was running full speed. And to be honest with you, I think he would have been ready week one. Josh Jacobs doesn't take that long to get going. You know what I'm saying?
You still get football. You still get football shape. You play football for 2 years. You still want to get in shape. Because you're off season. Of course, you're working out. Of course, you're doing your lifts, you're running, all that stuff. Still, you want to get football shape. You also want to get the cohesiveness of the offense. Because it might be different tackle, different guards, different call sets. You still want to have that mindset when you walk in the first game. I understand what you're saying. You're right about that. He didn't give him a chance to play. In the first week, first 2 weeks.
I don't see where the cohesion of the offense is going to be cohesed if the offense ain't running through Josh Jacobs. And everybody knew before McDaniels got here that the offense ran through Josh Jacobs. We've been doing that since Gruden. We've been doing that since Bisaccia. Everybody knew Josh Jacobs was the straw that stirred the drink of our offense. No matter who was on the outsides, whether it was Devontae or whether it was Renfro or whether it was a Rod Streeter, you know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing bogus names out there, but no matter who was on the outside, it was our running game, and he failed.
Yeah, he didn't run off to do Josh Jacobs. Well, you're right. The guy who a year ago was a leading rusher, not running through. If he's a leading rusher in the NFL, why are you not running the system through him? We didn't do that, like you said, but still, he has to get in the game. He wasn't in the game. You could see it. He wasn't involved in the game because that's Josh Jacobs' fault, not Josh Jacobs, McDaniels' fault.
I mean, I think the real downfall in regards to McDaniels is and some people might think I'm giving McDaniels a pass on this situation, but I think the downfall, it was two things: his pride, but also him not being a having to juggle being a head coach and then being an offensive coordinator. There's special guys in the NFL that do that job, and that's why they're doing that job. But not everybody's built to be an offensive coordinator and a head coach at the same time, especially if you're a head coach that demands to be in the room, you know what I'm saying, of all these people. You know what I'm saying? There was reports that McDaniels was in everybody's room, you know what I'm saying, trying to demand things and do things. And yes, that is a role of a head coach, but when you're the offensive coordinator and you have to, your responsibility is to run that offense on the other side of the field, then you got to let some things go. You got to let some of these coaches do their job, and especially when you have somebody like, and I have faith in him, and we still have him on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Is Patrick Graham. When you got a Patrick Graham, you should just let Patrick Graham cook and handle whatever else needs to be handled. You won't have to babysit and you know what I'm saying, look over his, you know what I'm saying, look over his shoulder in regards to him running the defense. Patrick Graham, he handles that. So, I felt like that's what McDaniels was running into. He was juggling way too many hats, and he forgot that the main thing that he needed to focus on was the offensive side of the ball.
Well, Josh McDaniels wanted to be a Bill Belichick. He wanted to run the way Bill Belichick did things. And like you said, everybody's different. The one thing was McDaniels' downfall was he wasn't a good people person. He did not relate to the players. He thought he can go to the coaching room, like you said, he went to the defensive room, to everybody's room, and say, "Do it my way." This is what I saw, what's going on. My opinion. I want to run this way and this way only. This is what you do. Because you notice how when McDaniels got fired on that fateful day, which was great, you know the defense got better because Patrick Graham called the players he wanted to call. He put the players he wanted to put in there. It wasn't up in Judge McDaniels' hands anymore. So I think he, like you said, his ego, his pride, everything got in the way because he did that with Denver the same way. He wanted his fingerprint on every aspect of the game. So why do you have defensive coordinators? Why do you have offensive coordinators to help you run that aspect of the game? Special team coordinator. Why do you have them there? If you're gonna run everything, then you don't need those guys. We don't need defensive coordinator. I'm defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator and special team coordinator, so I'm calling all the plays. So I think he wanted to make his ego so big that he had to make sure that he did everything.
Definitely. And you know what I'm saying? With that, definitely we're gonna be having a good matchup with Chip Kelly and him too. I think that's gonna be a good, matching of offense. One of the, top with just Josh McDaniels allegedly being one of the tops in the field of offense. But it's gonna be wild. Sorry, I lost my original thought while we were kind of midway, but when it comes back, I'll definitely put it out. But with the pieces that I was gonna say, remember when we had Kenyon Drake, right? Like that was a good pairing, I felt. And if it sucks that that's how it ended, is he got injured, but that would have been a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of similar to what we've kind of done with the Genty Mostert. I feel with this, kind of similar, where it's not just we're riding one back and there's a whole bunch of scrubs in the back, but it's where we get that was the best running back pairing I think we've had in quite some time, and it didn't last because both of them could do so much. We could do double back sets, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you would definitely have to pay attention to both. I remember, let me see, damn, I almost got that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, damn, I wish McDaniels was on more teams because the only teams that he was able to beat were the teams that he was on, is the Patriots and the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish he was on more teams because in that way, I don't know, he took stuff personal. So that, I think, do you think he's gonna take it personal against us? Getting fired at 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween with your kids trick or treating.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I'm ready for it too.
It's like the movie Friday, man. Like Friday, Craig got fired on his day off. You think you can take that personally?
Yeah.
So
So who's going to take it more personal, us or him?
I think he is. His ego, like Twan said, his ego is so big, his pride is so out there that his feelings I know was hurt. Like you said, trick or treating or hollering with his kids, and he got a phone call. Hey, guess what, guy? What's up? You're fired. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be pissed off too.
Oh yeah.
On my day off. Yeah, come on.
But see that thing, like you could be mad, but what are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel with McDaniels. Because I mean, does he really have the weapons? It's his first year back.
Well, I'm gonna say this. He has Drake May, and Drake May what's his second year now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's see how he handles Drake May, because the way he handled Carr was kind of like, what are you doing? Because I remember back in the day when McDaniels was with the Patriots, they wanted to trade for Carr. I forgot what it was. Mac Jones, who was it, Twan or Jason?
I
They
think it
had
was.
Mac Jones, and they was offering ready to trade for Carr. Ray said no. So he wanted Carr in New Orleans. I mean New Orleans, New England.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gets here, then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. Shout to I seen this a little earlier. Shout to Hero. I think he's a I'll say Chargers fan. But respect, because he showed a little respect. He says y'all will break the curse this year. Just can't have some Raiders crying because some teams go into the postseason. But with the Chargers, we'll take one step at a time. Next year, we will play playoff football together. I heard that.
Okay.
I heard that. Yeah, respect for that. Better y'all than those the mustard and the ketchup.
The Heinz and the French. Heinz ketchup and French mustard.
Ooh, I like that. The Heinz and French.
Yeah, Hero. I think he's on my channel.
Nice, respect.
And he's real cool. I think there is going to be a time where that actually does take place, where saying the Chiefs have been dethroned, and it will be the Chargers and the Raiders, and whether it's the Raiders in number one seed and the Chargers are wild card, or the Chargers are number one seed and we're in the wild card. But it will definitely there'll be a time where we will have to battle in the playoffs, against each other, and we'll see where it goes. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing the progression of both of our teams, taking their place in the postseason. So we'll see how that goes. I think with McDaniels, it's a similar situation as Chip Kelly, and I'm glad that you brought up the Chip Kelly situation. Chip Kelly was a head coach, and he had some failures as a head coach, but I think we have him in the best place that he can be, and that's him being an offensive coordinator. I think Chip Kelly being an offensive coordinator does a whole lot for us. Him being a head coach, hell no. But having him as a having him as an offensive coordinator, hell yes. And I think that's the same thing as in perspective. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the same thing with McDaniels. McDaniels as a head coach, hell no. As an offensive coordinator, I will take that. I still believe that McDaniels, as a offensive mind, is a good offensive coach. Now, does he have some other things he needs to work out? Absolutely, yes. So we'll see, how he comes, playing against us. I think, yes, he will have, that chip on his shoulder, especially how we treated him at the end of his stint of the career, firing him and all of the things that, has been said about him. Yes, he's going to come in, against us and have some things under his sleeve. And yes, I think there is talent there with the Patriots. I think Drake May I liked him coming out of the draft. I liked him at North Carolina. And that was actually one of the guys that I thought, if we could pull the trigger on somebody, Drake May was one of those guys. But, and they have also, some of the things that they struggled with in the beginning of their career, of Drake May's career, was their offensive line. They shored that up with the draft pick that they got this year in Will Campbell. So, is that going to help that offensive line? Is that going to help Drake May be, even more successful because he has protection? And that's just on the offensive side of the ball. We haven't talked about, Robert Spillane being over there, our green dot, a guy that it seemed like everybody in the Raider Nation hated that he left and got the bag over there. So he has intel and personnel and knowledge of what's coming, coming to the Patriots, in week one. So there's a lot there. I'm not discrediting, the New England Patriots. I think they have some talent there, on their roster. And if we come in there acting like we got it, like we got it in the bag, we might mess around and be limping out with the nail. So I hope our mentality is, You know what I'm saying? Go in there and beat them. Be prepared and don't take it as a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a team that has, as much as we have motivation to beat them, they have motivation to beat us. So, I want us to have that mindset going in. But I believe personally, I think this is a game that we can win, but we can't just go in there acting like we've already won the game and the ball hasn't been snapped.
I would agree with you that I would say you're right about that, but not going back to that. I don't think that Pete Carroll and the crew will go in there expecting that we're going to win this. Maybe if it was AP last year, maybe so, but I don't think they're going to do that. But one thing I remember is that Josh McDaniels had his greatest time with the Patriots when they had this guy, this quarterback. I forgot his name. I think he's part on the Raiders. So you got a quarterback already there that's been in the league, that's throwing the right passes, the right system, everything else. You had a quarterback there. Okay. When he got here, we had a quarterback. McDaniels, I don't think, developed Carr to where he wanted Carr to play. Because I don't know if it's true or not, but what I'm hearing is that McDaniels didn't want Carr to change any play calls or anything. He didn't want Carr to the proper man. He was a good reader of defenses. He read the defense really well. McDaniels said, "No, play my play and do like I said, and that's where it's going to go." Because I do believe after that Seattle overtime game where Carr changed the play, that was the end of Carr for McDaniels. That was it. Because like I talked to on me and Jeff's show, we talked about that and we looked at the highlights, and I had never seen a coach not celebrating a victory, especially in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't smiling. He was just like, he didn't call play I called. Even the press conference, he was like, it was a good call. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually your head coach, any win, the win is a good win. No matter how it was dirty, what happened. But to me, he was like, he wasn't happy that Carr changed the play. I could be wrong,
And
but that's what I saw.
And I think that's his strong suit. You know what I'm saying? That was the benefit of Derek Carr. Derek Carr's strong suit as a quarterback is that he was able to read pre-snap. You know what I'm saying? What the field. He's actually that smart where, okay, they're running this. Okay, we need to change that. We need an audible out of this. And that's why, he had success, more success with a guy like Gruden, where Gruden was like, hey, this is the call, but if you see something,
exactly.
go ahead and switch it out and I'm giving you this to run. And that's exactly where, like you said, when because that was one of the key, like you said, a key moment in the fall of Derek Carr. It was because of Derek Carr saying, wait, we gonna win this game if we give it to Josh Jacobs? Yeah, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, because he wants to win. And there was situations even throughout the years where, during that season where you could hear Derek Carr talking about, hey, this is what I felt. This is what I thought we were going to do. This is what I believe that we could do to win. And I was not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And players saw that. Players saw that Derek Carr was trying to, hey, we need to give it to Josh Jacobs, or, this is a time where we need to throw it to Devontae Adams. And, you know what I'm saying, that it wasn't, he was trying to do that to win the game, but it was not what McDaniels wanted. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole situation. That was the whole situation earlier where, we found out that Josh McDaniels didn't like his quarterback to run. No. Even though Derek Carr wasn't a running quarterback, you know what I'm saying? We realized that Josh, you know what I'm saying, as a quarterback, that is an option when things fall apart. And he didn't like that quarterbacks ran.
He wanted a pure pocket passer because he had Brady there all those years. And Brady wasn't a running quarterback. You rarely see Brady move out the pocket because he had passes, this and that. So he wanted a pocket quarterback. And like you said last night, the NFL is changing, evolving. So you need a quarterback. Hey, if things break down, can you get out the pocket? Can you move the pocket to the left or to the right or step forward or you see a hole, go through it? McDaniels didn't want that. Like I said, Carr was running for him. He never was. He wasn't a pure pocket passer. But you still got to get away from the defensive rush when the offensive line breaks down. And more than likely, they did break down a lot for him. But I say, either like I said, McDaniels was like, either go do it my way or no way or hit the highway.
But well, I was gonna say just to defend, like Twan got to do it a little bit earlier with that one. But do you think that was just because Derek Carr wasn't mobile? I mean, he wasn't Tom Brady, of course, but like, do you think he tried to channel that around DC and then maybe, he should have just kind of, I don't know. I feel like with
Derek Carr could run when he had to because I watched some games from Fresno State. I watched some games from the Raiders in his first years he got here. Mm-hmm. He could move around if he had to. Mm-hmm. Especially that infamous game against the Cowboys where he tried to get a touchdown, the idiot fumbled the ball bounce. Yeah. But he can run if he had to. If he plays, he ran for first downs. Mm-hmm. He can run if he had to.
Yeah.
The point was McDaniels said, no running. Stay in the pocket and throw your throw.
Yeah. I just feel like with Drake May, it would be more like he would just try to have him moving around in the pocket. He probably won't, because if they lose him, he's out. They're kind of out. So basically, him moving around the pocket or him doing, RPO type stuff. But
he might change. You know what I'm saying? He might change his ways after getting bounced out so many times. But history repeats itself, right? And McDaniels has been one of those guys where he sticks to, what he does, and he expects everybody to fall in suit. And that's not the case when you have veteran quarterbacks and veteran players that are who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like the successes that we saw with McDaniels in the offense was when Devontae Adams and Derek Carr looked like they were at Fresno, and throwing the ball to each other. And, Devontae was having 100-yard games and because of that connection that Derek Carr had with Devontae Adams. But you notice, and check this out, Jason, you notice that the guys that you that will say something in the locker room, what happened to them? They all were gone. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr, spoke his mind and said, hey, coach, I think, and we know Derek Carr, he ain't no gangster, So it wasn't like he was strong-arming anybody, but I can imagine that Derek Carr would go to McDaniels and say, hey, I think if we do this, I think this is what we'll win. This is what we'll have success with. And McDaniels they bumped heads. Darren Waller, Darren Waller spoke his mind. What happened? He was on the next thing smoking. Josh Jacobs.
First round out.
Spoke his mind. And what happened? He was on the next thing smoking. So history repeats itself, and all those guys, all they wanted to do was win.
That's funny. And I was gonna say, like, when we were naming off everybody, Josh Jacobs, Waller, Renfro, Devontae Adams, Jacoby. My tripping was Jacoby.
Jacoby.
Okay. Well.
They got Hollins. They had.
Yeah, Mac Hollins.
Was he there, Daniels? Aaron, you remember?
I feel like he was the reason.
He Mac Hollins didn't play a huge role in the offense, but I'm talking about the main guys that we all identified were our feature guys: Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. You know what I'm saying? Even Renfro. You know, the fall of Renfro, not letting Renfro run his China route. You know what I'm saying? That he was killing everybody in the league.
He was tearing them apart.
You didn't even put that in the offense. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing that Josh Jacobs had Wes Walker and all them guys, Adam Amendola, and that's what he used them for. And we thought that Josh McDaniels coming in, we got a third in Renfro. He could use it the same way, but he didn't even get out there and play. He didn't even use him. So that was a fail for me too. Like, well, why not even using them? Because you used Wes Walker and Amendola like that, and they were successful. But when he got here, Renfro just totally disappeared off the map. Like, where's Renfro at? He was known as third and Renfro. But like I said, the pride, everything got in his way. As a offensive coordinator, probably was good, but then again, he had that good defensive team when he was offensive coordinator with the Patriots. He had a great defensive team. He had John Brady, and he had a Welker, Kowski, and all those guys. So his job was a lot easier to call plays for the Patriots then. Am I right or wrong? Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
When your defense is playing well, as OC, all we got to do is just hold the ball and get a touchdown or a field goal, whatever. But when you have a defense that's not that good, where you have to score points, that's when he failed with the Raiders. He didn't use the right weapons at the right time. He had weapons, but he didn't use them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, we can go back to Denver. The guy, I don't remember Denver's team that year he was there, but same thing. He didn't use all as disposable. He had set his own ways. He was said, this is what we're going to do it. Fine. Belichick did his way, but Belichick is a lot smarter than he is as a head coach. A lot smarter.
I really wish, and I know that it probably won't happen because of who he is as a person. But I really wish that Derek Carr would speak, you know what I'm saying, about the Raiders and talk about those moments. You know what I'm saying? Talk about all the things that he wished he could have said publicly, that now he can do it now because he's retired, and you know what I'm saying, he can let it all out, you know what I'm saying. But
I'll tell you what's going to happen. What could happen? I'm going to cut you off, but I'm going to tell you what happened. If the Raiders decide to sign him to a one-day contract so he can't retire as a Raider, once the New Orleans officially released him and all that good stuff, once he's officially retired, he retires a Raider, that will come out. Right now, he can't speak because he's retired, but he's still under New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever come out because just for that reason you said, Chris. Like, I think it won't come out because once they do that, there'd be no reason to really do. You know what I mean? Because somehow, some way that could get twisted. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of better that it didn't and it hasn't, and that it probably won't. Because like for that same reason, like you said, he wants that one-day contract, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like, and if once you get signed, you're gonna be like, you know what? Nah, some things are better left unsaid, you know?
It might come out after all that happens. He's not gonna say anything now and jeopardize that, you know. So it might come out, it might not, because Derek Carr is not a yeah. He's a low-key kind of guy. Like you said, he's not a gangster, he is a gangster. He's a Christian gangster. You know. Yeah. So he's not gonna sit there and badmouth people that don't need to badmouth.
Yeah.
Remember I just feel like, you know, that and I think if we look at it in that perspective, I think there's a lot of things where, like we were talking about, there was probably a whole bunch of times where Derek Carr went into the head coach's office and said, I think this is what will help us win. And it fell on deaf ears, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the bashing, because there's a lot of people that don't like Derek Carr. There's, you know what I'm saying, within the Raider Nation. And I think a lot of them don't like Derek Carr. And there was a lot of things that it was just out of his control. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there was times where he, he threw that interception. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He did fumble. But I think there were some other things, behind the scenes that I like. As a player, he's like, I can't really speak about. I'm just going to take the bashing, but hopefully he can either write a book or something to like let us know, like, hey, like almost like what Tom Telesco did recently, you know what I'm saying? Talking about saying things like, hey, this is what I was trying to do, but this is what happened. Or when Mike Mayock, you know what I'm saying, finally left and he had an interview and spilled, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of stuff about what he was trying to do with the Raiders. Like, I hope Derek Carr can, do that. Even like I said, and unfortunately, because he is who he is, I think even if he did try to clarify, some people still won't even, you know what I'm saying? They'll still say F Derek Carr. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, like, you don't realize that there were some things that even with our jobs, there's certain things that we can't even say about our jobs, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, we still trying to get that check, or we still trying to, you know what I'm saying, keep the peace, you know what I'm saying? So I hope eventually there's a safe place where he can say, hey, this is what happened. Because there was a whole bunch of things. We don't know how he really felt, you know what I'm saying, when he was crying. You know what I'm saying? And everybody wants to bash him on that. Everybody, when he was the one up at the podium, you know what I'm saying, when Henry Ruggs did the stupid thing he did, and he was the one having to take the grunt for all of that, you know what I'm saying, in the media. Like, we don't know how we know a little bit of it, but we don't know the full story.
You don't know. And you want to know, because that was an emotional hurt moment for him. Some people, guys, women, anybody, sometimes their deepest hurt will never come out. They'll keep it sealed inside till, forever. So we don't know exactly how he felt. We know some things. I heard that his wife got kicked out the Raiders Club or some madness like that. And we heard about a lot of things, but we will never know. But going back to Josh McDaniels for a moment.
Yeah.
He, to me, said he changed. He didn't change anything. No, he didn't learn a lesson from Denver. Because the story I heard, and I'm trying to find it, I can't find it, that I think they had a fullback there. I can't remember. I can't find. I'm trying to look for it now. They had a fullback there. That's when they were using fullbacks then. And his wife saw his picture. His wife said, "Oh, he's handsome. He's cute, or whatever." You know what happened to that guy 3 days later? He was cut. But he was a good fullback. Because his wife said he was handsome. Josh McDaniels' little, what they call it, insecurities came out like, what do you mean he's cute? He's cut. He's off the team.
I forgot who that was, because I remember that story too.
Yeah, it's like
no, I got it right here. It was Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis, okay.
Yeah, this is widely circulated rumors suggest that Josh McDaniels traded running back Peyton Hillis from the Denver Broncos to the Cleveland Browns in 2010 due to alleged concerns about Hillis's interaction with McDaniels' wife, Laura. Former Broncos tight end Nate Jackson claimed that McDaniels believed his wife was attracted to Hillis, leading to the trade. Jackson described McDaniels as having a fragile ego and suggested that the trade was influenced by personal feelings rather than football considerations.
Yeah, that's it. Peyton Hillis. Okay, yeah. I like
but however, Hillis himself has offered a different perspective. In a
Okay.
2011 interview, he stated that he was relegated to a fullback role and not allowed to run the ball, which he felt was due to racial discrimination. He also mentioned that he was not happy with the situation, but tried to be a team player. Hillis expressed that he was trying to be on the field, but ended up not playing at all. The exact reasons behind Hillis's trade remains unclear, with conflict accounts for various sources, while some suggest personal reasons related to Daniel's wife. Others point to professional factors such as Hillis's role on the team and his performance. The lack of concrete evidence makes it difficult to determine the true cause of the trade.
We'll never know exactly what happened, but even to have a hint of a rumor like that, got to be something.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be something. I mean, it could be he was a bad player or didn't fit the system. Yeah, that's understandable. But when that came out, and he's the only player that happened to. I don't know. We will never know the truth.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of funny.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I remember Peyton Hillis wasn't bad either. Like I remember when he was actually surprisingly,
fullback, he was pretty good.
Yeah,
he was good.
And to try to turn him into a fullback was crazy.
Yeah.
And then how dare you bring Zamir White here, and then you try to see that's how. This is gonna be a good one today.
All right, let's do it.
Let me see. You guys want to hear? We're gonna get ready for Josh McDaniel's offensive philosophy. McDaniel's system is heavily rooted in the Ernst Perkins offensive system, characterized by multiple formations, same plays, which you're just disguising your intentions. Short to intermediate quick passing, heavy use of the running backs in the pass game. You're right. Option routes for slot receivers. Audible flexibility at the line of scrimmage. Situational tempo changes can go hurry up in 2 minutes or randomly speed things up.
Can I ask a question right quick?
Oh, of course.
Are you getting that from the Book of Lies?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, everything that they say that he does, he did the opposite with us. Why?
Totally opposite. That's some of the Book of Lies.
Dang. Excuse me. My bad. Yeah. You know, I will always believe he was tanking, guys. I will always believe that he was just because, like, we named off who was on our roster. There's no way we lose that many games. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what we had last year, and we won 4 games.
You know what's so funny, Jason? I said this during that time. I said, name one player that actually played well.
Last year?
Yeah, that's
with McDaniels.
Oh yeah. Shit.
Devontae Adams did their first year.
Kinda. Well, yeah, the first year, yeah.
But even with that, everybody took a dip.
Yeah.
True.
Because remember, we were a playoff team before he got there.
Yeah, we were. And he got the whole team. He gutted that team.
Yeah. Rich Bisaccia got us to the play. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have anything fancy at coach after Gruden left. We had Bisaccia, and we still were able to climb to the playoffs with that core team.
But like I said last night, well, me and Jeff on our show, and Twan was there, and JT was there. Like I said, when you get a new coaching staff, a new OC, defense coordinator, if you get all that, things are going to change. They're going to change the style play they want. But there's certain things you don't do. There are players that got you there. Keep them. You might, okay, for now you're going to start doing this, make it better. He did not. He made it worse. Mm-hmm. He pretty much just gutted the whole team for a year and a half. Just like, I don't want this guy. I don't want this guy. I don't want this guy. I'm bringing my guys in. Okay, he brought in Jacoby Myers. He traded a first and second round for Devontae Adams. Well, okay, well, good, great. So I'm thinking Devontae Adams is going to be here for a while. Nope, he's gone. You know, He brought in then he brought in Garoppolo and old man Hoyer, like, and then Garoppolo. Like, what are you doing? This team went to the playoffs despite the year we had with the Gruden crap and the Ruggs and all that stuff, and we intern coach. We still managed to get to the playoffs. Why are you gonna change everything around? Just run a little bit what we did that year, and then add to it this year. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. He just like, I'm changing everything. If it was up to Josh McDaniels, he probably would have fired Mark Davis if he could.
Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah, and that was when we fired Bradley. Like the defense that got us to the whenever that happens, like the coach that just got fired, who was that just got to the Super Bowl? Or remember when I know the Niners just did it too when they went, and then I'm like, how do you fire the person that got you to the Super Bowl? How do you do that? Like, I mean, just because of one, if it's just one game, but I mean, everything else to that point worked. So, I mean, when we got rid of Bradley, it was the system that everybody was getting familiar with. We picked up the OG, what's his face from the Hayward. We picked up Hayward, and Hayward actually was a good addition to help the rookies that year with Hobbs and with Merrick and all them. But it was a good, I don't know, that was one of the best free agency pickups. And of course, we don't keep them. We, what I'm saying, let them go on just a one and done. And that's what I'm saying. Like every person that got us to the playoffs, we didn't build off that. That was the frustrating part. It was like, okay, everybody that was on that team that contribute, because like even in the playoffs, we were just one touchdown away from making that a game. You know what I'm saying? To make it to shocking the world. And we hung in there. You know what I mean? We were in it until we weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we weren't that far to build off that. You know what I'm saying? Stick with the core pieces and get better. But no, we started all the way over.
But you don't take a playoff team the year before, and now's our first playoffs in a while. We got in there. You don't take a playoff team like they went to playoffs last year. Let me improve this now. We got our core players. Let me get some other players to help out. You don't take a team that's gutted. Like you say, he want to tank? No. He wanted yes men on his team. He want people that don't speak up, don't criticize him, anything. Because the moment that infamous locker room thing with AP and the players and stuff, when he called for a player meeting, that shook him up. They know that you guys don't like me. No, we don't. We're walking on eggshells here, as Renfro said. No, we don't like you. The way you treat us, the way you talk to us. Because I remember watching the OTAs he had, and I'm watching it, and it was bleep, 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 bleep. And then they bleep every 4 words out of his mouth. Why are you cursing at these players like this? He's a grown man.
Yeah. Even Gruden didn't curse that much.
No, well, Gruden cursed. It's a certain way you curse. If you're going to curse, a certain way you curse. Excuse my language. I'm going to say this. You said, damn, that was a fucking bad pass. Do better than that. But you say, don't go say, you threw a fucking bad pass. You know what I mean? Just the way you say it.
Yeah, it's where you place the curse word.
Yeah,
you know
that was a fucking bad pass. But you don't go say you do it's the way you say it. And it's cursing like they were kids. I'm like, what the hell?
Real quick to shout to Chief High Smoke. He's a Chiefs fan, but very good dude, very respectful man. Like definitely has good content, and he talks good about the Raiders and stuff too. So definitely check out his takes on us too. Pretty good stuff. He says, Jason, congrats on the baby on the way. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. My take on the Raiders is they tried Gruden's way, the Patriots way. Now the Bucks way. Al Davis is rolling over in his grave, not seeing the Raider way. Respect, man. I appreciate that. And we've been frustrated with the same thing, especially the Patriot way, because it's the Patriots will always be just like the Bucks. Every time I see the Bucks, I think 0-2. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was rough. But it's been a long time since we've been back to the Raider way. Because like I said, our running back situation just got better, so it's yet to be seen. But I feel like that was our staple. We were always the running game, the tight end situation, and we've always had staples in the wide receiver room as of before the last few years of just stability. But I just hope these guys can shine this year. And I like that we are drafting, getting younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just hope that we are a fast team. Like everybody that we've brought in has speed. And if anybody knows the Raider way, that was Al Davis's dream. Like everybody, like for quarterbacks, big arm, you know what I'm saying? Like he liked his running backs to be able to be versatile but powerful. And wide receivers, he loves speed. Speed kills, man.
Yeah, but that was old school football, so it's hard to do that now because the NFL hasn't evolved. Going back to Al Davis saying rolling his grave, no, because I remember my boy Twan said last night we're a copycat league. Yeah, we are. Well, one team does something successful, everybody will do the same thing. But we got to stop doing that. We got to stop. Let's get Josh McDaniels here to do the Patriot way. Yeah. Remember, Josh McDaniels wasn't the head coach of the Patriots. He was the offensive coordinator. Who was head coach? Belichick. That was the head coach. He ran everything. He ran with an iron fist, as some players said. And it worked for him. Josh McDaniels tried to copy the same thing. Didn't work for him. But one thing, I don't care what anybody say, the head coach of a professional team has to be a certain type of person. Because you got to relate to the attitudes, the egos of all these professional players who are getting paid millions of dollars. Some of these players are getting paid just as much as you are and more. So you got to know how to talk to him, how to relate to him, and everything. Because what was that incident that Pete Carroll went to the opposing sideline when he was in Seattle and went to talk to the opposing team, defensive tackle or lineman. He said, "Hey, how's the new baby?" And he named the baby's name. And the guy said, "Huh?" Because you got to be personal. Al Davis did the same thing when he was a owner and stuff. He went to the other players' team and talked to the other players as people.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan didn't have that skill. You got to have a certain skill. Now, offensive coordinator, you can send the booth and call the plays, fine, because you're not dealing with the guys himself. You're dealing with plays. So that's what it's down for. He wasn't a people person.
Yeah, and you would definitely want to play for somebody that cares about you. You know what I mean? The person, not what you bring to the table. Like at your job, like you could be a hard worker, and then someone could know you just enough. You could be having a bad day, and they could be like, hey, I know you. I know who you are. Don't even trip. It's good. And it's just knowing, just giving a damn about your people. Not how much money they bring in for you. But like, how is their family? How are they doing? How's everything? Like, hey, bro looks off today. What's going on, man? Like, talking about it. And for that, if people, they care for you, you'll do anything for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a family. You know what I mean? Like you checking on your family, but some people treat it like a business.
What's so wrong with that? I mean, it's good. It is a business. Basically, that's all it is, a business. But still, you got to be impersonal too. You got to I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna say my age no more, but I work a few many jobs. You know what job was the best jobs? Were the small company and the boss knew your name. I had fun at those jobs. I enjoy getting up more like, oh, I can't go to work. No, I say, oh, I can't wait to get to work. When the boss come in there, you sitting there, you walk in, and the boss say, hey, good morning, Chris. Hey, good morning. But you walk to the jobs where they treat you as a number, like don't even say nothing to you, like you below them. It makes you feel like you don't want to go back to that job again. You make it enjoyable, be personal. Yeah, I'll play for you. I'll run through walls for you. That's what AP had. It was personal with the players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, now I feel like we have. I don't know. We're building. It's going to be a process where it's we're going to be building for the next year, well, year plus. But I feel this is going to show where we are. This season is really going to show, what we're building. I'm confident in the pieces we brought in. Like I feel that we are going the right route. Like our drafting is getting better. That's where we're going to see how good we get, because if our draft picks are good, we could save some money and we're not cashing out all these expensive ass players. Instead, we're drafting these players.
Cheap
You know what I'm saying?
labor.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What
Like,
is it? What is it? What is it?
No, I on my channel I used the word cheap labor, and cheap labor is for rookie contracts and UDFAs. So
Ooh.
if you can maximize that value
There
of
you
your draftees, then the money cap wise, that's when you can ball out on the guy. Like right now, what Trey Hendrickson is out there, right? And he wants a big penny. Well, guess what? Because we got enough draftees and a lot of people on cheap labor, we got a whole lot of money to throw at Trey to, to even make our team, go over the top. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm a big component of getting value out of our draft picks. And that's
what they call that in the business world? In the business world, you know what they call that?
cost recovery.
Internship. I get cheap labor for nothing. You do this guy's job. They're not gonna pay you guys anything or barely nothing.
And then even further with that, then you're in a position where you are spending money on things that are worth it, right? Let's just say that fourth rounder that you drafted, he's been under cheap labor for 4 years, and now it's time to give him, his first NFL contract, right? And you want him because he's that guy, right? Right. Now you got money to spend because everybody's been on cheap labor. Everybody is on a cheap contract. So when you do have to spend money, it's not hurting you. It's not hurting you to retain a Max Crosby. It's not hurting you to retain, a Josh Jacobs. It's not hurting you to retain those franchise type of guys after their rookie contract because you drafted well and you're getting production out of whoever it is, no matter what round they are. So yeah, I'm a big component on cheap labor.
Well, say what you want to say about Telesco, but he did save us a lot of money. I'll give him that credit. But on another fact, going back to McDaniels again. I'm sorry, you want to bash him? I'm ready to bash him.
Get him.
Who do you think ran the organization? Was it Ziegler or was it McDaniels on the picks and the signings? Who do you think it was?
McDaniels, I feel.
We know who the can't. Well, no, it's Sunday. I ain't gonna cuss. I was gonna cuss on that one. Please pray for the chaplain. We all know who the B was. I'll say it like that in a relationship. We know who the B was in the relationship, and it was Ziegler.
Well,
and Ziegler shouldn't have been, because to be honest with you, I think Ziegler was actually smarter than McDaniels.
It is.
Because he was in the position where he had to suck up to McDaniels. That's why we got what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be honest with you, I really wasn't mad at Ziegler as a GM.
No, me neither.
But because of the decisions that he made, because we knew that it was influenced from McDaniels, that's why Bert and Ernie had to leave.
He said Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie.
No, because financial. So it sucks because Derek Carr had to be the piece, but that was what kind of got us out of our financial situation, because that was the choice. I just feel like there should have been something in between, but that was what got us out of the cap hell and allowed us to kind of get pretty much to kind of where we are right now, not giving him credit at all. But I just feel that was the thing that Ziegler and them kind of did get going, because remember that was after the Gruden, all the people that we're still paying to this day, or all the, those past contracts.
Gruden is done. They paid him off. He's done.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like all the people that he, like the Littletons, what's his name from
all the dead
yeah,
contracts.
all the
All
dead
that
money contracts.
yeah,
Like
dead contracts, yeah.
basically, we had all that going before they got there, and now that's the only thing I can kind of give credit to with Ziegler was getting those better. Because remember the contracts that they were giving people, they got easy outs. Like DC signed one, and then remember, bam, put the pressure on him. The Renfro one, bam, we got out of that one. The Waller one, traded. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that they worked and moved around, all the different trades and stuff like that. They made some moves, but like I said, I don't know what. Well, I know what was going on. Like I said, McDaniels was trying to tank. He was trying to get whatever he was trying to get because there was no way with what we had that we failed that much and that we didn't win as many games. You know what I mean?
I would still say he was tanking. I don't see that.
I do because all the games that we remember, the 6 and 7 games that we were less than one score away from winning, that we did not finish. All because it was suspect plays. Like you look at all those losses, there was like remember the Chiefs game where we ran into each other with Renfro and Devontae. Just crazy, like just the play calling. I feel like McDaniels was stubborn and he felt like I'm going to make this work and it's going to work, but he wouldn't adjust to what wasn't working because that was the thing. Like he was doing all these long routes and stuff like that, but we didn't have a line to protect. So I'm like, bro, you got to shorten these routes. You know what I mean? Like that, you make the adjustment. You don't just say, no, well, we're going to complete this. No, you adjust. Okay, he's having a hard time getting this throw off. Shorten the routes. Make it easier for your team. You know what I mean? Work to their strengths. You know what I mean? Just get, and then why are you it's I forgot what it was. I know it had to be 4th and 3rd or less. It was something crazy. And then why are you going for a deep pass on 4th and short? I don't know what it was. I know it was short though. It was 4th and something very short.
It was it was and that was one of my issues with his offense and him being, and I knew it was pride, but it was just, it made it predictable too. I could guarantee, and I forgot, it was there was a mic'd up defender that played against the Raiders, and it was like 3rd and 15. And we know, 3rd and 15, it obviously is an obvious pass situation. We ran the same play every time we were in a hole, and that was dagger. The defenders knew that we were playing dagger. So even if you thought, dagger's going to work on 3rd and 15, the defenders already know you're about to run that route. So obviously they're running the route for the wide receivers. And that's why we weren't able to convert on those 3rd and longs when somebody stupid on the offensive line held. And I ran that scenario on a few lives where I said, okay, it's 1st and 10, holding back, back a couple of yards. Now we're 2nd and, 2nd and whatever. Oh, incomplete pass. Now we're 3rd and 15 and we're running dagger.
I blame Illuminor too. I blame Illuminor too. But but that was us being cheap at tackle, because that's the thing. It was Illuminor had a lot of penalties that year too. And the thing with it was until we had a proper tackle in place, Illuminor was willing to play for a little bit of nothing. So, I appreciate him being there, but at the same time, it cost us because like if it wasn't a false start or him just getting blown up or him picking his big ass off the ground, you know what I mean? Like it just everything. And it was just, we kind of had to go through those growing pains, but we had everything on the outside. We had the wide receivers, we had the tight end, we had, everything, but the core pieces that we needed to protect the quarterback and give him more time did not have at that time because somebody traded them all away.
Well, McDaniels didn't use the strength of the team at that time was Josh Jacobs, like we said earlier. We got to run the game. Okay, first down. Okay, scenario. First down. Josh Jacobs the ball gets about 5 yards, 4.5, 5 yards. So now you get 2nd and 5. 2nd and 5, you can run a little short pattern pass to try to get the first down. If you don't, it's 3rd and 5. So it's shorter than 3rd and 15. Now you got options to run different plays to get that first down. He didn't do that. That's what I'm doing. And like Twan said, defense wasn't fooled. We know exactly what you're gonna run. We're gonna cover like we always cover. So now you got to punt the ball. So he was stuck in his ways. He was stubborn. He refused to change the way he thought about it. No, Beyond Man's in there.
They getting feisty.
I was looking at it. Beyond Man's in there. I didn't see it.
Hey, you know what? I let them do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's on my channel, but look, if Piano Man's in my chat, yeah, you guys can go ahead and if he's talking crazy, you can go ahead and give it to him.
Twan bringing that record. Nah. Well, I mean, who knows? It's all.
Yeah, he don't bother me. He bother a lot of people. Don't bother me too much.
No, not at all. I was reading it and just kind of, I was like, ooh, it's getting.
Yeah, Beyond Man jumps, everybody gets feisty.
Yeah, but that's Raider Nation. I mean, we back.
That's what we do.
I mean, we back. So, you know what I mean?
You see how they let Hero and Marcus, you know what I'm saying? Marcus, they let them live because they know how to act. You know what I'm saying? They know how to act in the chat.
Yeah,
if you start talking crazy, then you're gonna get the business.
Yeah. Yeah, if you come in from another team, man, that's fine. I don't care. I love it. Yeah. But this all disrespectful to the chat and to the panel. Like, come on now. You can talk about you want to, but don't disrespect.
Yeah, that's why when I know other, because I mean it's preseason right now, so it ain't even nothing right now. But when I see other people, because like Chief High, like I've definitely watched some of his stuff too, and he's had some good takes, like talking about the Raiders and stuff like that. So people that respect, more, big ups. But I just appreciate, and I'll do that just so hey, bro's cool, what I mean, But then, hey, we have no control over, back and forth. But if people come respectful, I will definitely give them a heads up, like, hey, bro's cool, he's respectful.
That's who Piano Man's hero. That's who he is.
Yeah, hero.
Yeah, he changed his name now and then. Yeah. I hear on my IG. I'm cool with it. I don't, don't bother me. You can say what you want.
He said, don't bother. Yeah. But it's all good, man. Like it's all, and at least because what pisses me off the most about talking shit is because I love to talk shit, but this team for the last 3 years has not allowed me to talk shit. It wouldn't have meant anything, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like I'm just talking reckless, but it's like now I feel like we about to talk some shit, talk some. Shout to everybody, shout to Ben. I see y'all.
I see you, Raider Ben. What's up? Well,
Raider.
Well, to me, like I said, we can't say nothing right now until we see the product on the field. We get our hopes up. Like I was talking about, like they're trying to change direction. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna the first game of the season. We're gonna blow these teams out all the way through the season. We're gonna go 11 and 6, make the playoff run, and get to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Mark Davis, I think, is wise enough to the fact that he's now not making all the decisions or final decisions. He's asking people. Everybody keep talking about Tom Brady. Yeah, remember, Richard Seymour is also a part owner too. So the input. That's the last time I was getting frustrated, and I think Twan saw that. Talking about Brady wasn't allowed in the draft or anything. He's the owner. He can do the hell he wants to. He's not a full owner, but I tell you, he has more stake than anybody else do in that room. If you want to go in, he can go in there if he wanted to. Probably didn't want to. So they changed directions. The smartest thing Mark Davis did was fire Josh McDaniels. One of the smartest things he did, because he saw what he wanted. Because when he hired Gruden, he gave Gruden a 10-year contract. Because basically, Mark Davis said, "You do everything. I'm not going to do nothing. You do everything. Fine, so be it." Gruden was starting to. He even said, "After 4 years, if I don't do anything, you can fire me." In the fourth year, he had a team rolling. got them to the playoffs. That was his team. What was Sasha's team? It was his team he built to get to the playoffs. But then the email and all that bull crap happened. So he's out. What's the next step? Hire Josh Jacobs. Because he figured that, well, the Patriots won 7 Super Bowls. Yeah, that was Belichick's team. If you want to hire a Patriot way, hire Belichick, not Josh McDaniels. He didn't look at his history, what he did with Denver. Okay? So that was the mistake he made. And he corrected that mistake by getting rid of him. So now what he do? He hires football guys that know football. Because like I said last night, and I'm going to say that every time I say it, Mark Davis said, I don't know anything about really football. My dad did. I don't. I'm a businessman. And then he runs the business. Let him run the business. Let him write the checks. Let him go on. But going back to Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis just wants somebody to run the team for him. Like Josh McDaniels did. Josh McDaniels bought his bobblehead guy, Ziegler, as a centerpiece. But Ziegler was smarter than people think he was. I think he had more because he wanted to get C.J. Stroud. He said, "Let's get C.J. Stroud." My dad said, "No, we get the other guy from Carolina. What's his name?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. I want my Bryce Young." But Ziegler said, "No, let's get C.J. Stroud." No, Bryce Young. Couldn't get him because Carolina picked him. Could you imagine if we had C.J. Stroud now? Be a different team.
Shit, we got Geno. The locksmith.
Thank you, Roshad. That's a compliment to me.
Hey, Don Cornelius.
He always says that.
I can see
He
that.
always says love, peace, and soul.
Soul. Hey. Raider Soul Chain.
Well, yeah, that's what I feel. Offensive coordinator, I still say he's okay. I'd say he's good because remember he had a good defense, good, damn good tight end, some receivers, and a good defense. His play calling was easy.
You talking about McDaniels?
Yeah, he was offensive coordinator for the Patriots. He had Tom Brady, Gronkowski, Walk Wilder, and Amendola. He had good running backs. I forget their names. He had a good offensive line. But the thing was, what made the Patriots win was that defense. That was Belichick's team.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have all that, when you have all the good players and a good defense and a good offensive line and your offensive coordinator, makes your job a lot easier. But McDaniels had to come in and rebuild a team that he saw in his eyes. It didn't quite work out the way he wanted to.
Yeah, this is the week 1 game plan versus the Raiders that McDaniels will probably try to run. This is targeting Raiders' weaknesses. The Raiders' defense, depending on 2025 personnel, has often struggled against pass-catching running backs and tight ends, especially in zone coverage. Expect McDaniels to scheme running back angle routes, option routes, and tight end seam routes early to test linebacker and safety discipline. Scripted first 15 plays. Classic McDaniels features you'll likely see are play action passes on early downs, jet motion, and orbit motion to identify man versus zone, a mix of under center and shotgun to keep fronts guessing. I just wish I had seen more of that as a Raider because I don't remember none of that. Balanced personnel packages. McDaniels often uses 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back as a base. 12 personnel, 2 tight ends in red zone or short yardage, allegedly. And then a 21 personnel with fullback or halfback if he has a fullback or power back, which he got rid of our fullback. Red zone strategy, high use of tight ends and condensed sets. That's funny. I think
You know what? I want that book of lies you got.
it's so crazy because he used to, and this stuff he did in New England, I remember. But when I'm thinking about what he did with us, because like everything that we did good, he traded Waller, he got rid of our fullback. Everybody's gone.
Well, he got rid of our fullback to replace him for a fullback.
Yeah.
Remember, but it was his guy. You know what I'm saying? That's why we end up getting Jakob Johnson.
Jakob.
So that's why, so the fullback was in effect, but it wasn't the Ingold style of fullback. And we know Ingold, there was benefits to having Ingold in the passing game, but there was also some there were some things with Ingold that he still wasn't, getting done for us.
Yeah. No, but that's when they got rid of Jakob too, though. That's what I meant. Like when they got rid of Jakob, because remember they were saying, "Oh, the league isn't going with fullbacks anymore."
Yeah, it's sort of phased out. The fullbacks sort of phased out the system.
But that was after Josh had led the league in running, though. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm like. Why would you get rid of what helped Josh, and then now all of a sudden you're going with no fullback now?
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Just like the things that worked. Just another example of what was opposite. Let's do the opposite. Hey, we were successful doing this. Let's get rid of the fullback. Let's see how you can do without one. Like what kind of thinking is that?
Yeah. So that again, he and Chris said it earlier. He keep every every whistle stop that he made, he tells the team, I changed. Yeah. I learned from my mistakes. But you still doing the same mistakes.
The exact same thing.
So we'll see. We'll see if he learned his mistakes week 1.
I hope not. I hope he keeps on. But I mean, now he just went back to his little mouse hole. He's back in the Patriots, back where he's comfortable. Back with the people that actually, believe in him, I guess, and he's back at home living with mama, like basically he's back at home, so
he's back with mama. Yeah, that's looking at it. Although his daddy's not there, he's in North Carolina, but still.
Yeah. Oh, but now he's the man. Now he's the little man.
Because their head coach is Vrabel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's after this football.
Vrabel has control and knows what he's doing in regards to that. Vrabel's like, hey, I know what I'm gonna be having my defense trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I just need someone to run my offense. And he knows that McDaniels can run that Patriot offense. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, there is a benefit to, McDaniels being McDaniels, you know what I'm saying? And we'll see how that plays out for them.
But the McDaniels did a great job when the Patriots, but yeah, remember, he didn't run the team. Belichick did. Mm-hmm. Like you're saying, Vrabel's going to run this team. So he's not going to have full control like he had with the Raiders and the Donkeys. He don't have that full control. He's not going to be the GM that picks other players that to pick. Who's in control of that? The GM and Vrabel. I'm probably saying his name today.
Yep.
So he don't have that. He don't have that authority to do that now. So he might be better off where he's at in a little cubby hole with his little blankie. They can play. They can cause.
And like Jason said, it is the mouse hole, and in the mouse hole, there's comforts in the mouse hole. You know what I'm saying? In that mouse hole, it's even with Vrabel there, it's still the Patriot way. You know what I'm saying? And McDaniels knows, you know what I'm saying? He knows the Patriot way because that's all he's been successful in is the Patriot way. So, him going back and being comfortable with the way, the way that he was trying, and I think that was the other issue, was he was trying to force the Patriot way on the Bronco whatever they call themselves. And you know what I'm saying? And he was trying to force the Patriot way on the Raider way. And it just did not work. But when he's over there, those guys are already, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are already programmed, you know what I'm saying, Patriot way. You know what I'm saying? So when he goes in there and starts yelling at them and doing all the Patriot way coaching stuff, they're going to think it's just another walk in the park.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. You know, he's trying to he was trying to emulate his boss, Belichick, and how Belichick ran the team. Like I said, Belichick's a different person. He's a different animal. He can't do things exactly the same because I can't do the same thing Jason do. I can do the same thing Twan do. I can't do exactly how you do it. I can copy it, emulate it, but it won't be the exact same thing you guys do. That's what he tried to do. He tried to do exactly what Belichick did. Belichick was, like I said, a hard-nosed, old-school head coach, and what he said goes. It worked for him. But you can't come here as a fake copy dummy, and try to do the same thing. People are not going to respect you because you have no history of Belichick been in the NFL forever. Cleveland Browns and all that stuff. So he will get that respect from the players. Like, well, you've been a coach for a long time. Big dummy, this is your first go around. You have no record of being a head coach or anything of the nature. So we don't show the same respect we're going to show Belichick. So you can't come here like that. Come in and earn my respect. You know, if you don't earn respect and I respect you, you can curse the one you want to. And not just like, I just one ear out the other. But you can't come in there demanding things when I don't respect you. You see the point I'm making? Mm-hmm. That's what he tried to do. He tried to be a copycat of his old boss. Didn't work. Tried it twice. Didn't work.
Yeah, oh goodness. I keep forgetting his dang name too, but his son was the OC for the last part of the season. Remember but his dad, I did not like his dad when he was, Chargers, all this kind of stuff. But it was the same thing with him. Oh, he's the offensive guru and all this, and I just couldn't stand that dude. It was
who, Belichick's son?
No, it's he was our OC for after we got rid of
you talking about Norv Turner?
Yeah, Norv Turner. When we got Norv Turner, remember they were like, "Oh, he's offensive." I couldn't stand that dude, and it's pretty much same results.
His son.
He was. No. His dad. When we got his dad, like that was the same story as like the McDaniels thing, because he was supposed to be this offensive guy, supposed to be better as an offensive coordinator than the coach, all this kind of stuff, and then he was trash.
Oh, the Turners? Well, they had us different plays, but by then it was too late in the season to change anything. So they had to run some make dummies play calling. So
No, I was talking about when he was their coach, Norv Turner.
Oh, the Turner was garbage.
Yeah, that's why I could stand that dude. And then when we brought him, that was one of the coaches. That was one of the only coaches. I was just like, anybody but this dude, man. Like, I was upset about that one, but it was hard to get behind, what's his name, Norv Turner.
I understood the logic though. You know what I'm saying? We had Scott Turner as the offensive coordinator, and Norv was pretty much serving as a sounding board for his son. That's why when you looked up, when we watched the games and you saw, Scott Turner, you would see Norv Turner like, like right behind him or, kind of like two seats over, giving him whatever he needed. So I there was a few weeks that I gave Scott Turner, some props because our offense, even though it wasn't his playbook, he was just picking stuff out of there and trying to make it work. It actually looked somewhat okay. Our offense started to look like an offense, but again, it wasn't the full package, right?
Yeah. But with the quarterback improvements, the only thing I worry about is because I've been, seeing like everything that they kind of been working on, but I think people are going to kind of focus more in on either the running back, like as far as like the option and stuff like that. Because I mean, yeah, he can run, but I mean, I think people are going to bank on him tossing the ball rather than keeping it and running because he's not Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I worry about with the quarterback situation and us mixing it up is that teams are going to focus more on the pitch than the keeper. You know what I mean? So because you definitely need balance with that because you have to be believable that you have the ability to keep it and run too instead of just everybody focusing in on they're going to give it to Genty, you know what I mean, and them just crashing out on Genty.
What are you talking about the Days team right now? Oh, I heard I have to go do something. Well, you got to realize that Geno Smith is able to run the ball. He can run RPO, so that I'm not worried about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just worried about making sure the O line protects Genty from getting smashed so much. I know he breaks tackles. That's what I'm worried about. But he was breaking tackles against boys. Now he's got to break tackles against grown ass men. That's faster, stronger than the college thing. But then I'm gonna go back to this. I think, and we talked about last night, Twan and JT and me and Jeff. I think Zamir, I'm not gonna call him Zeus yet, not till he proves himself. I think Zamir White is gonna have a better season than he had last year. For one, he's not gonna be the focal running back. He's gonna be the second, third string running back. I don't know where they're gonna put him at if he's still on the team. Two, Chip Kelly has a way to design plays to that particular player skill set. You know what I'm saying? Because he had two running backs at Ohio State. Each running backs were a little different from each other. But each time they got the ball, they ran different plays. If you go back and look at those tapes, they ran different kind of concepts. And they got great yards. Each receiver on the team, that one kid, boy, I hope we get him when he comes out. I'll get his name. Had different concepts. The other receiver had different concepts. So he's gonna look at a player and what they do the best and design a play for that player. Not just 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays when he comes in. You know, so Zamir White might have a better season this year if he's still on the team than he did last year. Because last year, what was the concept? And then Luke gets the offense, run straight ahead. That's all he did. It was no running outside. Zamir White is not an outside running back. He don't have the ankles and the shiftiness to cut it outside. You know, Genty does, I think, I hope. Mozart definitely does. But not Zamir White. He's more of a north and south running back. So they're going to design plays just for him.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Like, I want to see, there was nothing really, we didn't do nothing with the June 1st, all the hype that was behind all the June 1st moves and stuff like that, right? Nothing really. Yeah, so I still wanted to see another running back kind of get added to the mix, but I think teams are smart. They're going to keep on. See, we're the only ones that kind of give up things thinking we can replace it and get better. But, because when people are, like the Jalen Ramsey thing, like things that are, like, oh, the Raiders need to do this, like, I'm done with the hype.
That's a trade. We got a trade. He's not, if they do cut him, fine, but they haven't cut him yet. You got to wait till after training camp, and then they start getting to the roster man cuts.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can pick up players like that. You can pick up, not Jalen Ramsey, but you can pick up a running back that was cut from a team that didn't make the squad. Well, we can grab him now. He's cut. No contract. Don't worry about it. Especially a rookie. Yeah, we can pay him cheap. Yeah. So the June 1st cut was just basically to clear the cap space room. No team is going to cut players now because they haven't seen what they can do yet. Because the OTAs means nothing really to other teams because it's just helmets and T-shirts. That's all it is. When they put the pads on, when they start hitting, they start seeing that. Because you play football, Jason, right?
Yeah.
And Twan, you play football, right?
I coached it.
You have to put the pads on and helmet on and everything else?
Huh?
Have you wore the pads and the helmets and full gear?
As a coach, yeah.
Okay,
He says a
you
coach.
know,
I lit up some folks.
you're athletic, man, in shorts and a t-shirt, man. You can do
Oh
everything,
yeah.
but you put the pads on. A lot of things change. You're not as athletic. You are athletic, but you're not athletic on with the shorts and pads.
Mm-mm.
So until that comes to fruition, okay, let's wait and see. June 1st cut, that just clears cap space. Get rid of guys you're going to get rid of anyway. But no teams really did that. So they did a cut before that. But let's wait till training camp. Let's wait till that roster cut down. Then you go see some players move all around the place.
I wasn't always fat. No. Yeah, I gained some weight after my, like mid 30s, but yeah, I used to be a lot skinnier.
You wasn't fat. You're not fat. I saw you in person, man. You're more like they call pleasingly plump.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it sucks. I got a lot chunkier, got a lot slower. So, but but back then I was like, that was back when the Randy Moss era, T.O. and all them. So like I was kind of like, I wasn't no Randy Moss, speed or size, but I felt like I was kind of like T.O. I was hard to tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like I could break tackles and the dog. One of my favorite players was Steve Smith Jr. because that, being a shorter receiver, you kind of look to people that are kind of more but he was a dog. So that's why, like size really, because when people say, oh, you're too small, you think of people like Steve Smith that gave people work every damn day. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to those dogs.
Chris Carr, too, wasn't that big guy neither, but he shows catching that ball like it wasn't nothing. So. Anyway, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna ask Twan your opinion. Do you think Josh McDaniels know the Raiders' weakness on defense?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is Twan you freeze?
I think no.
Oh,
I think no. I was just thinking about it because
okay.
there's this. This is what's confusing. And again, I said this last night, and I'm still on this because nobody's really talking about this. Like I think they really should be talking about this. The confusion is we don't even know what we're going to do defensively.
True.
We don't know if it's going to be Patrick Graham and letting just Patrick Graham cook, or is it really going to be Pete Carroll telling Patrick Graham what to do? We know that Patrick Graham is more of a cover 2, you know what I'm saying, type of defense, and Patrick Graham is a cover 3.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they going to? So McDaniels does know Patrick Graham,
yeah,
but he doesn't really know. He probably does know cover 3 because cover 3 is easy, for opponents and just whatever. But to really know what's going to be called or what's going to be, deployed, I don't think McDaniels knows all that. So McDaniels is probably preparing his players for Patrick Graham, but he's also teaching if it looks like it's going to flip to cover 3, we're going to have to go a different way. So yes. I think he does, like I said, to answer the question correctly, I think he does know. It just depends on if it's really Patrick Graham or if it's really Pete Carroll. And we don't even know that. I'm waiting for the Raiders Voltron, you know what I'm saying? All the guys that got 50K subscribers and everything else to give us the answer, because obviously they have every other answer, but they don't have that one.
Yeah, because you got to remember that Big Dummy did bring Patrick Graham over to the Raiders. So, but to your point, this reason why Pete Carroll talked Patrick Graham in the stand, because he saw what he can do. Because Patrick Graham didn't make all the defensive call like he wanted to, because when McDummy left, the defense changed a lot. You saw a lot more different schemes in the game, because when he was there, it wasn't that many changes. So Pete Carroll's a coach that let the other coaches coach. Your job, you call offensive plays. That's what you do. You relay it to me, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine. You make defense calls. Relate to me. I don't think that's going to work in this situation. Why don't you try this one? Okay, call that. That's what Pete Carroll coaching style is. He let the coordinators coordinate. That's what they get paid to do. So, why I'm asking that reason because McDermott did bring over Patrick Graham from where he brought him from. That you think he knows his tendencies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Rock, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. You know, it's better because I mean we need it. Sorry to cut you guys off. No, he said why does Mark Davis keep selling parts of the team, and what's he doing with all this cash? Over $500 million in cash. Get his haircuts. He's got haircuts. He's got bowl cuts for life.
Yeah, those haircuts are not cheap, man.
Yeah,
man. Those are not cheap.
You know how much it costs to, you know what I'm saying? Ooh.
Well, he's selling his team to keep it out of corporation hands for one thing, because Mark Davis has no heir.
Yeah.
So he can't pass it on to his son or daughter or whoever. So he's trying to sell pieces to certain individuals to keep that kind of a family-based business instead of selling corporations. Because sometimes corporations can take a team over and just ruin the teams.
Yeah. And believe if it's money, you know what I mean, we'll be fine because we're already successful and we haven't been winning. So imagine like the track that we're on. That's the thing is getting the brand. You know, the brand is going to be fine. The brand, we just got to get the football aspect of it. You know what I mean? So, and then with Mark Davis, he doesn't know the football aspect of it. So they're slowly bringing in people. Well, swiftly bringing in people that know football, that know more, that can contribute more. He's a ladies basketball guru. You know what I'm saying? So let him stick to that. And then, you know, we'll get some people that know about good damn football.
And I think even further than that, I think, you know, this is just a new thing for the NFL is allowing, you know what I'm saying, people to start owning stake in the NFL. And I think this is just a branch of, you know, bringing in minorities into this realm of what used to be the white and gray. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much you had to be white and gray to be an owner. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the situation throughout the entire NFL. So to allow minorities like, you know, Richard Seymour, you know what I'm saying? Tom Brady is a minority, you know what I'm saying, owner, you know, to have those guys come in, like you said, for football personnel, but you know, it does allow him to have some say even after it's all said and done for Mark Davis himself. You know what I'm saying? Like if Mark Davis dies or whatever, at least he knows that he's entrusting it to people, you know what I'm saying, that are keeping Raiders, you know what I'm saying, throughout. If, like you said, if he gives it to Joe Blow Company, you know what I'm saying, we might be the Joe Blows, you know what I'm saying, the Las Vegas Joe Blows, you know what I'm saying, they might even reface the whole, you know what I'm saying, because they have that right, you know what I'm saying, as an owner. So he's building for now, but he's also building for, you know what I'm saying, the future.
If you let corporations take it over, we won't even be the Joe Blow. They'll move the team to I don't know. I'm not disrespecting anybody who lives there. The Des Moines, Iowa, the Des Moines, Ohio Raiders, Cornhuskers, or something like that. That's what he don't want to do. He wants to still keep that Raider mystique. He wants to keep that Raider shield.
Yeah. And plus he needs that money because you know if you've seen him at the game, you know he has to keep him a snow bunny in his suite. So you know that costs a little bit too.
2 or 3 of them. We don't know. We can't see everything, but you know.
Mark Davis, keep him a snow bunny, man.
Hey, not if we ain't winning, because that's why he been so mad, because they like, I ain't trying to go with you, Mark. Y'all don't never win. He's like, come on, baby, come to the game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna watch the game. It's embarrassing. You guys don't win, Mark, and you look at your hair. He's what's wrong? You don't like my ball?
You think the girls care about all that? They see that paycheck, billions. Like, I can get past that.
Yeah, money, they probably don't care about the win like we do. I was thinking like my mindset would be, man, I want to see the win.
Money do not know ugly. I tell you that. You got money, you look beautiful.
All they need is some alcohol.
There you go.
Yeah.
All they need is some alcohol, and they know that. Yeah, and they know they're gonna at least get one national shot. You know what I'm saying? Because every time Mark Davis get a shot, who's right next to him? The Snow Bunny. So look, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Looking like He-Man. Looking like He-Man's pops.
Yeah, most women do. Most women they know what to do. Let's say I want to be a model one day. If I sit next to Mark Davis and pretend I like him, I'm getting on national TV. They might see me. I might get an acting job now. So they know they do.
He might have smarten up. Smarten up.
Well, he has smartened up. I'll give Mark Davis some credit now lately.
He got out the way.
He's been trying to get out the way. That's he's been trying to get out the way since Gruden. You know what I'm saying?
That 10-year deal.
He was like, hey, go ahead and do your thing, Gruden. I'm gonna go ahead and handle the money over here. You go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, handle football. He's been trying to do that, but he didn't have, obviously that was a demise, the email situation, but he's been trying to do that. So I'm glad that he's, you know what I'm saying, what his method is it seems like if we can get some longevity out of these coaches, you know what I'm saying, then we'll be okay.
Yeah, he has been trying. Like I said, that 10-year contract was basically you know what, 10 years, you do what the hell you want to do. I'll just write the checks. It kind of worked out a little bit, but then all that crap happened, like we said earlier. So they tried again. They tried okay, you do it. Didn't work out. But he had the wrong. Mark Davis did what he did. Like I say, he had the wrong people in his ear. He had one man embezzling money from him for like 4 years. And Mark Davis didn't know that. They finally called on to him and fired him. Now he's mad. He's trying to sue Mark Davis for wrongful termination. Like, what, dude? You're stealing money. How is that wrong? He had the wrong people in his ear. He's finally starting to get the right people in his ear that knows football. Like my boy said, Ice Cube. I don't know. I don't know karate, but I do know crazy. So now he got people that know stuff.
And Sandra's in there too. Sandra Douglas Morgan.
Well, I was just thinking,
exactly.
who never gets any negativity whatsoever.
With her fine self, I'll say it publicly. She fine.
I'll say it too. I agree. I don't care my wife is not.
She don't play about the money. She don't play about the money. So yeah, that's a good. You know what I'm saying? That's a good pickup.
Prime female, dude. I'm gonna say that right now. No disrespect, but my God, you talking about facing the nation? You can put it on the shield all you want to. I ain't gonna be mad.
Yeah, that was crazy. That whole move was like, okay. And then, I'll just leave it at that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like someone that'll never get flack. And no matter whatever happens to the team, she will never get any negativity from the nation.
And you know what's good about that? You know what's good? That you don't hear much about those people, which I think is great. You don't hear anything.
Because she's doing her job.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't got to worry about Sandra, because what is Sandra's job? Her job is make sure that the Raiders are making money. What happened when we got Sandra? Our money went that way. You know what I'm saying? It went that way, and it's continuing to go that way because she's overseeing the money. You know what I'm saying? She's making. Yeah, we talk about Mark Davis making the business moves. No, that's Sandra.
Well, that was Mark Davis' business.
Let's do this. Let's go.
That was Mark Davis' business because he hired her to do that. That was his business move. Like, you take care of that. I'm only gonna do sit here with my nice fresh ass haircut that cost me $5 million, and I'm gonna write the paychecks. That's all. That's all you need to do right now, Mark.
Yeah,
that's all you need to do. Right, you hit the right people and write the paychecks. That's all you do. Let the business guys, the football guys, Sandra and all the guys. There's another person too that does contract. I forget his name. He does a contract negotiation. He has done a great job for years.
Yeah, he's been the same guy for the longest. Like he's been.
Let them do their job. You stay out because if it was under Mark Davis, this team would have players on a team that get overinflated contracts, don't perform, and just a cluster flack. Well, fluster club, I can say.
Yeah. And think about where we were after the whole Gruden debacle. Just the like when you think about the franchise as how it looked, yes, we were a show, a shit show. And now you look at now everyone, people from outside the organizations are like, hey, the Raiders are up and coming. Hey, I want to see what this Raider team looks like. Blah, blah, blah. It's like now it's positive. People are, even the people that hate us are talking good about us. Shout to the people that showed up in the chat from opposite squad. You know what I mean? But appreciate, what I'm saying? Like people are actually talking good. Like we got people out around here in San Francisco talk about, man, y'all about to be, you know what I mean? Like y'all got Pete, y'all about to do it. So, what I'm saying? It's good to finally hear the positivity come back. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, yeah. We still got steel on the field. Right now, we feel good about the direction they're going in, but we still got to see on the field. Let's see how it translate. Like I said, Twan, I think you said, what, 7, 8 games?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 7, 8 games. I say I'm looking at maybe 10. The ceiling will be 11. The floor will be 8. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'll go with that. But the thing I want to see is that, they have competed. They try their best to win, but there's a bad play calling, bad coaching, and everything else. I want to see them play like a football team because they got many teams out there that are fuster clucked no matter what they do. He always knows in a draft in a draft they always had a top 5 picks every draft year. You know why? Because the team's not that good. They always lose. I don't want to be in that top 5. I don't even want to. I want to be Raiders picking number 28 next year. That means we made the playoffs and then we're picking 28. Good. I'm cool with that. I don't want a number 1 draft pick. I don't want to have that stipulation.
See, with Pete Carroll, like when I think of Pete, he loses Super Bowls. I mean, he wins them too. I'm saying, but at the very least, he's gonna lose the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of coach Pete is. That's why when we got him, I'm like, this changes everything. Because when was the last time you've heard Pete failed? You know what I mean? Like a Pete Carroll failing his team. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. Like McDaniels, we've seen him plenty times fail his teams. And at the very least, Pete will lose the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like we've seen him almost pretty much win. Bad decision. We know the rest is history. But he fails big. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna be in the big games. That's why I say 10, maybe even 11, because I seen 8 before like the draft and all that. But just with Pete, because I know he's going to have us in some games. Some are going to probably not go our way, but some are going to go our way. And that's going to be the difference from 8 or 11. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And people were talking about when has he ever had a team that was like just bad, just a bad team. And you can't really pitch. There's not a moment.
He had bad teams when he first started coaching. That was the Patriots, but
no. I mean, it's like character bad, like character struggles and all this. I can't remember a time, you know what I mean? Like Pete's pretty much put together good character people. They get it done. You know what I mean?
I like Frank Weber's comment right there. Frank Weber,
Mr. Weber. This one.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not, but possibly.
Truth be told, Mr. Davis admittedly never wanted Mark involved with the team. That is why he steered him towards being an agent early on. Yeah, I can see that. He's probably be a better agent than, But then that haircut would throw people off. Because that's what I'm saying. Your first impression is everything. You know what I mean? So if you expect someone to take you seriously, you have to take yourself seriously. And I don't know. That's like if you got 1,000 people going this way and you got that one person walking the opposite way. I know they say in the Bible that's a good thing. You know what I mean? But I feel like in this situation, that maybe I would rather see him bald. But to each his own. I'm not here to change his choice. But I just say if I meet Mark Davis and I just off that haircut alone, I'm not taking you serious. I'm gonna think this is a prank. I'm gonna be looking around for cameras. I'm gonna be looking like, okay, this dude ain't for real with this cut, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, come on, man. What is this? Is this you know what I'm saying?
Well, Mark Davis did though. I'm need to change the subject about his haircut.
Sorry.
Stylish as it may be, but I know what he did. He went and stole a guy from the Philadelphia Eagles. I was talking about it last night. His name was Hunt, Brandon Hunt, vice president of personnel, player personnel. So he went to a Super Bowl champion team and stole their guy, which basically was a GM's right hand man to be a player personnel thing. So that shows me the one thing, that they're moving in the right direction. They're not just hiring any Joe Schmo off the street. They're getting people that are proven winners. Because he played for, he worked for a winning organization. Because Eagles did won Super Bowl last year. This past year, they won Super Bowl a few years ago. That debacle what was, but Eagles always been up there on the top of the thing. They drafted well. They're still drafting well. So we need that. So what we do? Let's go hire this guy. I don't know how much you're paying. Don't care. Let's get this guy involved with the radio organization. And see, that's a step in a smart direction. They're getting guys in here in the building to make good decisions, football decisions. They got a lady, like Quan said, to make good business decisions.
Man, girl, you're flying.
Well, fine. I don't care. Yeah, she is very gorgeous. Okay. But not only that, but she's very smart too. Not only that she has looks, but she's very intelligent. So we getting the right people in the right places. That's what I say. Looking forward, like I said, next year we'll see, and they'll see too. Like, okay, now, okay, we went with this. Now we know we need next year. Now let's get those players.
Having Patrick Graham still a D coordinator, having Chip Kelly, having Pete Carroll, and everybody all in the same place, I love it. Rob Leonard, I love that we were able to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just everything is going good. Like there's nobody that I'm like, damn, this bum is still, and I like that they
no, back up.
Oh, what up?
I'm gonna cut you off, Jason. I'm sorry, man. I love you like my own brother because I met you in person. We had good times together. There's one person here that's still in shame in the building that gotta go.
Not Deuce Gruden.
Yes.
Not Deuce, man. Deuce gives us just a little hope that
hey, Deuce is doing his thing.
I know.
You need a little Gruden in the building. You know what I'm saying? Even if there's a little Gruden in the building.
Hey,
he has a 10-year contract too, so he's still there. So.
Deuce is not the reason why some people are getting hurt. Deuce is the reason why people are actually, we're talking about, oh, this guy got muscle. Oh, this guy got gains. Like, he's the guy that's making people look, you know what I'm saying, built. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that got JPJ losing 15 pounds and got him looking stronger and faster.
And AOC lost some weight too. So we got the guys working out. I always make fun of him because of Deuce Gruden, the name Deuce.
AOC need to get in that gym. You see them arms, man, boy. If you don't get in that gym, get them things.
But you know what? With quarterbacks, they don't really do arms. Yeah. They do everything else.
Yeah, he should.
If you really look at quarterbacks, when they first come in, look at their arms, and that's how they look now.
Should look at Levis. Remember when Levis he was trying to sell himself at the combine? Yeah. He got all super swole, slanging that thing. But you know what I'm saying? No, sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, like do some push-ups or something. Because it just look like, it looks like mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, brother.
It's not the arms that don't come from the muscles of the arm. It comes from the shoulder and all that stuff, and the back plate and all that stuff. That's what they throw the release. That's where all the strength come from. Necessarily the biceps and triceps. Yeah. The action will slow the passion motion down if you got big ass muscles trying to throw a ball. It will slow you down. If you notice how you see all these bodybuilders, they got the big muscles. Watch them run and try to do things. They're really awkward and can't do anything.
Slow.
But I tell you one thing, if they want to get you in a weightlifting contest, they'll beat your ass with that.
Oh,
But
oh
as far as
yeah,
athletic wise,
yeah,
they're not really.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I don't want them to go Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just want them, you know what I'm saying, to just tighten them things up. Like, because I mean, when you look at it, I mean, even back arms, he ain't got, nothing like
Jeff, shut up.
it's worked for him, I guess, so far. But I mean, sometimes you gotta push it to the max. I mean, to be better, you gotta get better. You gotta improve, push your body.
There you go, Jeff. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain players in positions that they don't have to bulk up. You know what I'm saying? Linebackers, you bulk up. You know what I'm saying? Running backs, you bulk up. Our kickers, what do they all look like? They all look like string beans. Yeah. All of them. The only person that was huge was Janikowski, and we know why Janikowski was huge.
Yeah. But remember DC though? Like, remember DC? Like at the beginning of the season, he would always be all hella pumped up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell he was getting big. He was hitting the gym. He was trying to get big, and then just to push himself, get himself bigger, stronger for next season. But like, I mean, and I'm not saying that he's maybe AOC is, and it just doesn't show. But with DC, you would see he would blow up. When he would do those throwing camps with the guys and shit, you would see that he'd been lifted, getting bigger. And you could see that, but it's you got to push yourself. I just want him to push himself, even though he's going to be the backup. You never know what could happen. So I just want you always ready. Always ready, and take nothing for granted. What I mean? Do everything now so you don't have to regret it later. That's my thing now, because I did a lot of that. There's many things I wish I had did, but I didn't. So I just, for everybody that's in the opportunity now, do it now so you don't have to live with regrets of what you could have did, should have did. Do it now while you got the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Hey, kick Jeff out. Moderator? Oh, he's a moderator too. Kick Jeff out of
here. He's probably on your channel.
He is on my channel. He's a moderator. He said, do my right arm. Yeah, I wish I could. Believe me. I wish I could. So leave me alone.
Okay.
Yeah, like the position had to be buffed and yoked out. So for certain positions, you don't have to be all like you said, Arnold Schwarzenegger or whoever.
Yeah,
to play that position. Is your strength come for certain areas, like running backs, like Twan said, they had to bulk up. They had the meat up here and the legs because they got to absorb those hits. Linebackers got to give the hits, the punishment. But if you're a receiver, you don't. Besides DK Metcalf or Megatron, they were machines.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that buff and yoked out to make a catch.
Yeah, remember T.O. T.O. used to be,
T.O. was big too, yeah.
Oh, hey, Shannon Sharp, remember? I guess it looks football. Like LeBron James. That's my opinion. Like, LeBron James is just built to be a super athlete. That's why I kind of give people like Curry's and AI and Jordan, all these guys, even Kobe, like, more credit because they weren't super built. Like, I mean, yeah, it's easy to just plow through people, like at that size. But for like the AI was one of my favorite players growing up too, just of what he did at that size, going against people, going in a hole, diving, falling, making, what I'm saying? Like, Bo was a dog.
Well, guys, I'm old school. A guy named Kevin Willis. That dude was a freaking muscle builder. That dude was yoked.
The Rockets.
But he wasn't that fast. He was that thing. He was just strong. In the days when they did the post play, you couldn't guard him. Karl Malone. You couldn't guard him. The guy was just yoked.
Yeah. But good one, Karl Malone.
As the NBA changed and everything else, the big yoke players wasn't of value no more. It was all about the slenderness, the speed, the swiftness, and all that stuff. So it changes. Each position, certain bills works, certain bills don't. Mm-hmm. But AOC losing that baby fat was a good thing, I think.
Every position is different, and there's certain requirements for every position, right? Like I said, you look at the kickers, right? The most important thing for them is to be almost elastic. You know what I'm saying? They have to be flexible. You know what I'm saying? The way that they kick. You know what I'm saying? They have to be, the muscle ain't going to help them kick higher. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the elasticity in their body that allows them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Throwing a pass. That's elasticity. You know what I'm saying? To get that pass out there. So, you talked about Curry like not having muscles. Well, what does he do? He shoots all the time. You know what I'm saying?
He's outside. He's not battling. He's not inside battling.
He doesn't need muscle. He needs elasticity. You know what I'm saying? To put up those shots. So it just depends on what's required of them, and that's probably why it does and I don't blame you, Jason. It does look like someone that's muscular. Oh, they must play football, right? You see someone real oh, they must play football. You know what I'm saying? And
but look at John Kelsey, like you said. If you don't know football, anything about American football, you see Jan Kelsey walk on the street, you think it's a big old fat guy, man, drinking beers. But you'll never know he's a field goal kicker because he don't look like a football player. He's just big, but he don't look like a football player. He's not built. He's not. But he was a kicker. So just looking at him.
I don't see nobody, getting major gains by using some yoga stretches. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's required for like these kickers and punters. They do more yoga than anybody probably on the team. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep themselves flexible to do their task. So that's probably why you don't see a whole you don't see Arnold Schwarzenegger kicking the ball. You know what I'm saying? And that's just.
Like, man, you see Denver, they kicking these punting these balls that knees damn near hitting their face. That's how much the limber they have to be. So they stretching their whole body out.
Like Odell Beckham, right before the injuries, before the first of many injuries, like him as a wide receiver, bro, was one of just how he was. Like he was like he would come to he would go back to the quarterback, and he just had this energy, bro. Oh, kind of like I'd say like Antonio Brown when he was doing his thing, like when he was the best. Like it's just they had this energy, bro. Like it's just all game, like and we've been searching for that. Like that's when he came here, I was like, finally we get a because we know we didn't have to question his ability, but we didn't know we had to question his mentals. You know what I mean? But it was crazy. But like that type of just wide receiver, man, that's what I want us to have. Just someone that's just gonna fight all game. He's gonna give the other side problems. Just consistency, and that's speed. That's the type of, I just think of what Odell was when he first got there, and then we just need that aggression, man. Like. I worry about our wide receiver room still, just a little bit, just until, like you said, until we see what these guys are, the rookies coming in. But we just need at least one of them to step up. If it's Besh, if it's Thornton, because that would just be, 3 options is better than one,
I think they both will step up. I think they will.
Hope so.
So, I think we drafted well. We got 3 stars last year in the draft. This year, if we can match that or top it, I think we're doing good. Because for the past few seasons, Rare's draft class has been really horrific, except for the Josh Jacobs and the Max Crosbys. And I think I'm done. Yeah. For that, other than that, we haven't done well in the draft. To get 3 stars out of last draft. Granted, that Glaze was a star because Mumford got hurt, so they put him in there, and Mumford got healthy, and Mumford couldn't get back in.
Yeah. Do we still have Mumford? Is he still on our?
He's still on team.
I had high hopes for Mumford, just thinking that he was going to develop and then just last year, he was every time he got in the game, he got hurt.
He's on the bubble this year.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Does Wagner stick it out? Does Wagner, I heard he was.
I don't think he fits the system.
They said they had him working at, I feel like guard last time I heard. They said he was doing pretty good at that, but, like I said, shirts, shorts.
Dalton Wagner is the great white hope.
That size, though, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That size, we got to.
But you look at the football now.
So if you hear someone saying that he's a great white hope, that came from Raider Twan. Dalton Wagner is the great white
you are tagged with that from now on. But you look at today's football, the big offensive lineman like they used to have back in the day is not really that prevalent anymore. It's more like the more mobile offensive lineman because they're doing all these RPOs and these zone reads and everything else. So them being big, been good back maybe 10 years ago, but
Mm.
now it might not be that good. He might fit somewhere. He might be a good guard because they signed that Tasky dude. They put him at guard too because he's big and he's athletic.
Mm-hmm.
So how to use him, we'll soon see.
Yeah, it's true. But like you said, that dude, the Australian guy, was
Tasky.
that? Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Because I like big, like I said, like with Buffalo, big lines, 49ers, big line, KC starting to get a big line. It's just I don't know. It's hard with big bodies in the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then with Genti being a smaller back, the tall, the bigger the line, easier for him to slip out. So like, and then look at everything we're building. Everything, everybody's tall, big, tall wide receivers, tall DBs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we need tall receiver because, like I said, we had a lollipop guild last year,
Yeah.
so we had to get some receivers. As besides, I think the tallest receiver was Jacob Myers. He's 6 feet tall, so we need somebody. Well, we had Christian Wilkerson, but he never saw the field. He was 6'2". He never saw the field. We did see the field. He dropped the damn ball. Another guy we had that was tall, he couldn't catch neither. Couldn't run routes. So we need big receivers that can run routes and get out there and block. The main thing they wanted was blocking wide receivers. Both of Thornton and Josh Besh, Jack Besh, blocked when they were playing college for running backs. That's what we're gonna need.
Yeah.
Joey Myers, he know his record. He loves blocking for running backs. Because you know what I like doing? Hitting that DB that's guarding. I'm gonna take you out right now.
Yep. And then no drops. Like that's what I'm saying. Like everybody can handle the business with the ball. You know what I mean? Jacoby doesn't drop much. Bowers don't drop much.
Doesn't drop at all.
Tucker,
Drop passes. Non-drop passes.
Yeah. Now, can Tucker, with a more accurate and consistent quarterback, can Tucker be that wild card? You know what I'm saying? Be that piece that sets us over the top. Because I feel like he should be the one like they send in motion to see if it's 1-on-1. I mean, or to see if it's a man-on-man. And then
Tucker's gonna be the gadget play because I'll tell you one thing. That Thornton guy can run just as fast as Tucker, and he's tall, big. So Tucker will be there for gadget plays like a double reverse or something like that.
Yeah,
he can be down the field, but that's all he can do. As we've seen the last couple of years, we didn't see Tucker run too many routes. Had they put him number one, that failed.
Yeah.
So,
but better offensive coordinator though. I think that'll everything's really in place for everything to kind of work. Because before we didn't have an offensive coordinator that knew what he was doing. It was we got Chip Kelly and he will know what to do. He will know ball placement. He will know what's going to work. That's what I say. Like it's going to be different this year. I believe.
Go ahead, Ron. You gonna say so?
I partially agree and I partially disagree with the Trey Tucker situation. Trey Tucker actually does run routes. He actually runs more routes than Dante Thornton, and that's why I believe that Trey Tucker is going to be our deep threat, because when you have a deep threat, you need to have that suspense of, is he going deep or is he actually really going to run a route? And Trey Tucker actually can do that. The only issue that Trey Tucker had early in his career was that he had drops. You know what I'm saying? He was double catching the ball when he did catch the ball, and he solidified that. I think having a quarterback like Geno Smith that can get the ball out there is definitely going to make Trey Tucker a serious threat. At this point, Dante Thornton is the one trick pony. He's the one that, yes, he can go deep, but he does not have the complete route tree.
Yes, he does.
Just like
in Oregon, he ran complete route
tree. You're
tree.
telling me Dante Thornton is a better route runner than Trey Tucker?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying Thornton did run a lot of routes when he was at Oregon. When he got to Tennessee, they changed it up. He didn't run that many routes at Tennessee. That's cool what you saw. When he played with Oregon, he ran a lot of routes. Okay? That's what he did. When he got to Tennessee, they changed it up. The head coach or whoever offensive coordinator was, change the routes up when Thornton didn't run that many routes. So he does have a route tree. He just didn't do it in Tennessee. But in Oregon, he did.
So when the coaching staff,
I'll say the better route running right now. I gotta say Trey Tucker, because Trey Tucker's been in the league. He's in the league. Thornton's not. We will see that coming up. But the way about Nick said that he can't run routes. Yes, he can. He did it before. He just didn't do it at Tennessee.
It's being confirmed by players and coaches that Dante Thornton needs work.
Well, yeah, it's a rookie. Of course, he needs work. So yeah,
So with that being said, I'm not going to put Dante Thornton over Trey Tucker if we are asking for a deep threat to be called.
Yeah, I would just use
as far as speed. Yeah, I'll put Thornton as far as speed because he's big. I'll put his speed. Yeah. As route running, you probably more right. Trey Tucker probably had that advantage over him running routes because Thornton didn't run that many routes in college. But as far as speed, 4.3 versus 4.4, yeah. He can run a straight go route. Boom, we gone. And plus the size and everything will give him that advantage over Trey Tucker. And our hands and catching the ball, that we have yet to see. We know what Trey Tucker did. We have yet to see what Thornton can catch an NFL ball because in college football, NFL football is different. We got to see can he catch the ball.
What helps the quarterback though, like more? Like Trey Tucker as it used as screens and like I said, trying to check if it's man or if it's zone, or is it more helpful for a 6'5" receiver, going down the field? Because like I said, with Trey Tucker, they have to respect his speed. So they're going to have to keep eyes on him. That way Thornton can get open down the field. You know what I mean? And that's an easier target than trying to get it to a 5. I don't want to disrespect his size, but 5'11", whatever size. 5'10". Okay, so I was trying to be nice. Not, but 5'10", and but it's if you could use him to keep the defense honest, like Trey Tucker, like on those jet sweeps or like those screens, and then fake to them, and then Thornton's down or anybody, Bowers, whatever. But I feel like it's easier for the quarterback to get the ball to 6'5" receiver than it is to a 5'10" receiver.
If they both on the field, I don't know if you guys agree or not. If they both on the field at the same time, that could be a defensive nightmare.
Exactly. That's what I'm
saying. You don't know who's going to run. You're going to run an out pattern. Who's going to run? You're going to run the dig route too. Which one? Mm-hmm. Like you said, Trey Tucker run better routes. Then you got to respect that. But then, like I said, he can like pull up and go down deep. Thornton don't run probably as many routes as Trey Tucker does. I agree with that. But then you got like, what's he going to do? He's 6'5". He can go right down the middle of the field and just catch a fade pass, a behind the shoulder catch. Yeah. So if they both on the field at the same time, and then you got Bowers there, then you got Jitty sitting back there, and if you got 3 wide receivers, you got Besh or Myers pick your poison.
Yeah. Chip Kelly's got it good.
That's a defensive nightmare. What do we do if we play in the box? If we put 8 man in the box and stop Jitty, these guys are gonna run a muck out there. But then we go cover 2, cover 3. Jitty might get the ball and run for another 30-yard touchdown run. So I'm happy with the problem we have. This is a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I definitely
we got height. We got a running back that hope he performs like we want to perform. We got one of the best ties in National Football League. I can't say he's the best yet because it's only his second year coming up. But he had to perform this year. So I like this problem. This is a good problem to have. Because we didn't have that problem last year.
Yeah, at all. AOC's best game, I feel, was that game against the Chargers where we put that 63 on them. But you know what I'm saying? But remember, Tucker had 2 touchdown passes and or two pass receptions or 2 touchdown receptions. And beautiful route, beautiful passes. And that gave me, hope for him, as a wide receiver. But I feel like, to be fair to him, he never had consistent quarterback play to get him the ball. You know what I mean? So, Twan, I hope you are right. And I definitely hope it's a little bit of everything where like we're sprinkling him down the field, but I love using him as a threat too, because they do have to respect him. And he's good enough to, if we need to use him as a worst case, you know what I mean, we could get it to him, because that should be a check down at the worst case. like him getting open, like at somewhere underneath. So if whatever we're looking for downfield is not open, then okay, bam, Trey, do your thing. Woo. You know what I mean? Like at the very least.
The thing is, he'll be open. He'll have the cornerback the DB beat. You know, a 3 yard, 2 yards cushion. The problem was he had to stop and wait for the ball.
Yes.
He had to literally like go back and wait for the ball. It flew up in the air.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been proven on tape. You know what I'm saying? We've seen so many times where, you know, the play's been you know, down and Trey Tucker is 5 yards, you know what I'm saying, ahead of it. He got his guy beat by 5 yards, but the ball never got there. Right. Or we'll see a quarterback throw it to, you know, a tight, you know, whatever tight end we got, but then when you pause the tape to really see who else was open, Trey is like is open way down the field. You know what I'm saying? So he's proven that he can stretch the field. He's proven that he can beat his defender. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a situation of that. Now, yes, the measurables of Dante Thornton. Yeah, if you're telling me a 6'5" jump ball option as a deep threat, yeah, that looks more appealing than Trey. But I think he has to develop the other parts of his game a little more to be that real threat. Because again, along with the defensive side of the ball, defenses are expecting for you to do something. But one of the worst things that you can do for a defensive person is to have them guessing. Exactly. And right now, you have to guess with Trey Tucker. You don't know if he's going deep or he's going if he's doing a deep end. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole dagger. That was the dagger play that we were running a lot of the times. They would have one person streaking up the field, and then the other person would be the 20-yard end. You know what I'm saying? And that's a route. But again, you have to run that route. And there was times where Trey Tucker was that guy that ran that deep end. So. There's a lot of things that can happen with this offense, and like you said, Chris, there is a lot of optimistic voices with this. It makes it even more confusing, like you said, to have a Dante Thornton with that speed and Trey Tucker out there at the same time. I hope Chip Kelly is looking at this if he is looking to dial up some deep passes.
He just came out of his cave. I've been seeing him a lot more lately.
There's so many options that he can run that's what I say. This is the great problem to have. Like I said earlier a while back, you know, when they finish the draft, Chip Kelly's probably sitting in his office like an evil genius, like, look what I got here to play. We got a lot of tools. We got a lot of toys now to play with. You know, the more toys the boy has, the happier the boy is. Chip Kelly got a lot of toys he can play with because he's going to specifically design plays for these certain players. Like I said, I agree with you, Twan. But the only thing I was disagreeing with you that Thornton did run more routes than Oregon than Tennessee. Of course, he has to learn. He's a rookie. He's going to learn some route running in the NFL, some serious route running. Most guys do, some guys don't. But he's going to learn.
And one of the big
him and Trey, they're going to push the envelope with like the deep ball. They're going to push the envelope, you know. And so that's good to have. The inside route running and all that stuff and thing, that's Jacoby Myers and that's Josh Besh's job to run the inside routes and allows them out hook patterns. And that's their job, you know, to do those clutch catches, those 10 yards, 15-yard catches for a first down. That's be their job. But then when we didn't have a deep threat, everybody was playing on the line. We didn't run a game, everybody was on the line because there's nothing we can do. All we can do is pressure the quarterback a little bit. And say guard Mitchell's name. Guard Mitchell and you panic and throw the ball away. Now we don't have that anymore. I don't think we do. I hope we don't.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's the PTSD from not having this thing. You know, the simplest thing like quarterback. Like that's the main piece. And then it's like you could start branching out, getting pieces here. But for the longest, we've been talking about this, you know, getting a quarterback. And then I believe we do have a good quarterback with Geno. And, you know, with the weapons that we have, it's just going to see because they're young, you know, but if the core, because think about like how you guys said, like basically their jobs for Thornton and Trey Tucker is to get Bowers and Jacoby open. You know what I mean? Stretch the field so they can be open underneath, and they got yards after the catch capability, so they can do that. Until they can kind of develop into that, dependable, target. But that's their goal, because you have to respect the speed, because once you get beat over the top, it's over. All you gotta do is catch the ball after that.
The one thing Reds got to do is develop these guys. That's what they got to do.
Mm-hmm. I like that they took a chance with two. You know what I mean? So that means, because we haven't had consistency with drafting our own and them developing into guys. We've always had to buy them, get them from other teams, and get them for.
You have to rent them.
Yeah, pretty much get a free check.
Yeah, they rent them out for a couple of years, and then what was that guy? Blah 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 blah. I forgot his name. He did good with us. When Carr was there.
You talking about? You talking about Williams?
No. Receiver. He played with us, had a great year. Then he went somewhere else.
Zay Jones.
No, not Zay Jones. What's this? Took my tongue. Help me out, Chad. He played for New England last time I checked, I think.
Matt Collins.
No.
Aguilar.
Yeah, Nelson Aguilar. Here you go. Thank you.
Hey, that was another one. After Aguilar's season, why would you not, try to, keep.
He was free agent. He wanted the money because I think he went to Carolina or somewhere. He wanted a big paycheck. Got there, didn't do nothing.
I thought it was he didn't want to play with Carr, because I was thinking, like, why would you not?
Carr actually made him have a good season.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He helped a lot, because like Crabtree's the whatchamacallit, Coop too. But somebody more, like he
Zay Jones got the bag.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about him, but you're right. Carr made Zay Jones look great. Yeah, and he got paid.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And that's what we do. We bring a guy in for rent.
And Brian Edwards,
a year 2 contract, make him like an all-star. Yeah. They go somewhere else.
He made Brian Edwards look like that guy.
Yeah. Well, he made a lot of guys look good, but Derek Carr sucks, right?
That's what they say. That's what people say. But poor guy. He's
I didn't say he's
retired.
I'm just retired. That's why some of the things that people say, I'm like, that don't even make sense to me.
Yeah, he beat this. We beat the Saints. I'm over it.
How's he the most accurate career accurate quarterback, but he sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
That must mean that Stabler sucked. That must mean that Flores sucked. That must mean Plugin sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're saying that, and I hate saying that because I like those guys, but we.
Yeah. A lot of people,
a
lot of people have their opinion and where they were when.
If it came down to it, I would have kept Carr, let him stay here, and then draft a quarterback and don't get to Garoppolo and Hoyer. But that wasn't our decision to make. That was McDummie's, and it wasn't Ziegler because he had no say in anything. That was McDummie's decision because Carr, went against a status quo. Did what he wanted to do. So, yeah, it is what it is. That's why I don't think, going back to McDummie, I don't think he'll ever be a head coach in the NFL ever again.
Yep, and then the first game of the season, we're going to make sure that we start that from happening.
Well, who's going to hire him? He already failed 2 attempts. Some coaches come and fail. Chip Kelly's one. Pete Carroll was another one. Mm-hmm. They failed, and they went back to college and had a successful career. Nick Saban was a head coach in the NFL. People failed to realize that he failed. Went back to Alabama and won some national championships. Sometimes some coaches can coach NFL, some coaches can't.
He's going to stick around and see if Vrabel makes it or not, because then he's going to try to slide into that spot.
Coach.
I know it. I like because he's coming back because he's familiar. Like I said, back in his little mouse hole.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he'd be a head coach of the Patriots.
I think so.
He's gonna try. That's why he's back. I feel like he's gonna linger. He's gonna linger around and see what Vrabel, if Vrabel can, do, and if not, then I think he'll.
God, I hope so. He'll become head coach of the Patriots, man. I know Jeff probably say yeah too. I hope he does become head coach of the Patriots.
You have to factor in when Bill was on his way out. McDaniels was the guy that he was grooming to be that guy, but then McDaniels took off.
Jump ship.
He jumped ship before he got crowned the crowned the title. Because that was Bill's guy. You know what I'm saying? Bill said, "Hey, McDaniels, you my next guy up." You know what I'm saying?
He was like a daughter. He was like a daughter to Bill.
So if Vrabel, and I do like Vrabel, but if Vrabel fails, then McDaniels is right back into the son is back.
That's true. That's a possibility. I hope that happens. But then Belichick left, and there was some kind of stipulation that made Mayo the head coach. I think that wasn't going to last long, because anytime you fire a head coach 5 minutes after the game ends, then you won in the first place.
He's the wrong complexion.
Was that the Pierce? Was that the same as like the Pierce move for us?
That was a little more. They gave him a couple of days in the press conference. I think it was suck, but no. But they fired Mayo 5 minutes after the game ended. So that was telling you that they really didn't want him anyway.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna let him finish, and as soon as he's done, get the keys. Get the keys."
Couldn't get to the locker room fast enough before he was fired. Like, damn, he's walking back to the locker room. You're fired.
They said your key card don't work no more. So your parking pass is expired as of right now.
Yeah, security out the building.
And it wasn't his fault either. That's you know what I'm saying? Mayo didn't do anything to really, lose that team or whatever. That team wasn't good in the first place because you had Drake May, and that Drake May didn't have that offensive line sucked. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no receivers.
What could he really do?
Yeah,
you got a rookie quarterback with a bad offensive line, and you're expecting for them to win games.
No running game, no receivers. So what can you do? I'm like what situation we were in, but theirs was a little worse.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, they won the first place. There's some stipulation that Belichick had and all things they signed. I don't know. Not a Patriots fan. You can ask Jeff for that. He's a Patriot fan.
That's what I heard.
Ouch.
No, I was like,
I'm waiting for the kids to be still in here to comment on that.
He's typing now. He's like,
these mother efforts.
How dare you?
He's an undercover Patriot fan that says the Raiders have,
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's going to be an interesting season. Everybody's expecting so much. My expectations not as high as it was when they hired AP, because I thought we'd live off that 2023 end of season, maybe roll into the next season. So I was high on that.
Yeah.
This year I'm not, because I see what the Raiders are doing. You can say rebuild. You want it. I don't say rebuild. I think retool is the word I want to use. Not rebuild, retool. Take some things that went wrong, because Pete Carroll was sitting on the sideline for a year, and you know what? He watched every team, every game. The man, football his blood is made of football pigskin. Mm-hmm. It's in his blood, and I'm sure he's sitting there hurting, like, God, why? I wish I was there. I could fix it, because he probably saw what teams were doing wrong, not just the Raiders, but other teams too. Mm-hmm. What they needed, and people immediately came in there, told Patrick Graham to stay, because Patrick Graham didn't sign that extension when AP was here. He said, nah. Because what's the coordinator's most prized possession to have? And you guys just said that with McDaniels, to be the head coach. Nobody's going to hire you as a defensive or offensive coordinator when your defense like the bottom of the league, or your offense like can score more than 20 points. Nobody's going to hire you as a head coach. So that's why Patrick got to sign an extension. I was like, well, we suck. I'm going to just, play this out and I'm done. Pete Carroll come here and say, man, why don't you just stay? So he signed the extension. Because Pete Carroll sees something Patrick Graham that, you know what, we can work with this. So he signed the extension. Chip Kelly, same way. He came over because they tried to get Chip Kelly to be offensive coordinator before they got Getsy. He didn't even answer the phone. I said, no, I'm not going there. I want to be chance head coach. Well, I'm going to go for a team that's kind of disorganized. That's my chance of being the head coach in the NFL again. So Carroll come. Now his chances look better now. Carroll's going to be here 3-4 years. Maybe my chance to have a good offense and slide up in the round, if not here, just somewhere else. You see what I'm saying, Antoine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why the team's built this way. So Chancellor McDaniel, like you said, getting a great job. If he messes up, very good. Chancellor Chip Kelly being the head coach when Pete Carroll leave, very good. Senior Patrick Graham getting a coach here or being the head coach somewhere else, because we had interviews for head coach. But like I said, probably the wrong color skin. But he had chances to be head coach somewhere else. And that's what they want. That's their opportunity.
Yes, sir. And Geno Smith is going to pick up where Jason Campbell picked off, or where he left off, y'all.
Jason Campbell. I like Jason Campbell.
Bro, he was a good dude too. Humble cat. Like he was really.
I thought he was our future quarterback. Yeah.
And he could do both. He could run and pass. He was, man, what could have been?
Yeah, but
what could have been?
When you have a bad organization that know how to run shit, that's what happens. You lose good players to the other teams. Don't want to be here.
I remember that.
I don't know about you guys, but I might have to call this short because I gotta rear up these pork chops right quick.
Well, where's my plate?
Your plate's always here, man. Your plate's still sitting here, man. And now I got ants and fungus on it, man.
Yeah,
I'm usually gonna pick it up.
Yeah, I was like, man, by the time I was like, by the time I get there, it's gonna be gone. So just save me all the plate. Just freeze them. You know how we do. Just freeze that thing.
Put some Ziploc baggies. Last long they like snacks. So is Jason food.
Yeah. You got a whole bunch of like 59 plates in the freezer, in the deep freeze.
I try to limit my time with the swine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel you, man.
For sure.
I feel you. But also they like the swine, So what mama wants, what daughter wants, what the kid wants.
Oh, yeah.
But Dad, you can do good some pork chops. Yeah, I can do that. Easy.
Definitely. Everybody, what you guys got going on? Shout it out. Let it be.
I'm not playing voodoo. I gotta go cook. I got people coming over too. So shut up, Jeff. You mad because you can't cook like I can? If I had your life, Jeff, I'll just go eat cheeses all day.
I'm a Jeff. Jeff, he's got to eat too. He's got to eat too.
If I just shoot you, I'd eat cheeses every day, all day, man. Come on.
Jesus, Twan, what you got going?
Man, next week. I keep saying I was going to do something. I ain't going to do another live, and then I end up doing another live. I did 3 lives yesterday. Was up until about 4 a.m. Closing out a live, and then waking up early to do a live with you. So I didn't think I was going to be doing one Sunday, but when my brother says pull up, I'm pulling up. So I'm here. But next week for sure, I'll be going live. I will be having a few things that I need to discuss with the Raider Nation. I'm working on, Tom Telesco, letting you guys know what I got from Tom Telesco, what he said and what it really meant. You know what I'm saying? There's things that, of course, he says, but then there's things in between the lines that we know that make the correlations. So I'll be doing all that next week, so you do not want to miss that. Possibly Tuesday, if not Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday are the days that I normally do go live, unless someone hits me up. Again, I'm always available for any content creator that wants to talk some Raider football. Definitely hit me up on IG at Twan TWUAN at Raider Twan on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm close to 500, and that is one of the huge goals for content creators. So everybody knows what 500 means in that way. But so definitely It would be appreciated for you to hit that subscribe button. Even if you don't watch the show, definitely just hit the subscribe button just to support another Raider Nation, you know what I'm saying, trying to give back to the Raiders and the Raider Nation.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you.
Okay, man, got a little apologies. I don't know if you want to put it up there.
She said, "What? Oh,
you're a hero.
That's a hero. I need a hero." Let me see. Y'all truly got my respect, Jason, Chris, and Raider Twan. You guys will do great this season. I'm sorry for being a jerk in the other chats. Tiger got out of the cage. Y'all don't give up the favor. And
no, never will.
Yeah, never will.
Don't give up. No.
Appreciate that. You know, best of luck to you guys in every game that we don't play, y'all, or that matters for the. Never mind. I'll leave it at that. Every game that we don't,
leave it at that.
We don't play, you guys. Definitely, you know, best of luck.
No,
and beat those Chiefs. That's what I say. Beat them Chiefs twice for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's one thing I wish for. You got to beat the Chiefs, and I'm good with that.
And we'll do the same. So that's 4 wins right there that they will not have.
Let's not go off their high horse, man.
Yeah.
As who said last night? Somebody said Fraggle Rock. I don't know. That was funny.
Chargers, meet us in the playoffs. That's the goal. Get the Chiefs out and let's meet in the playoffs. Let's do it.
Shout out to Ray Love. I've been watching Ray Love the whole time. He's been in there giving it to him in the chat. So
Ray Love, yeah.
Ray Love's been going at it the whole time in the chat. But shout out to the Deacon, you know what I'm saying, Ray Love for sure.
Twan, we'll definitely celebrate, man, when you hit that 500. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know.
It should be a crime that you haven't hit it already. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's close. He's right there. He's like on the fringe of it.
Yeah. Everybody tap in with our guy, man. He brought the congregation. Come on now. Let's go.
Yeah, Jeff, by the way, if you want to come over, I'm going to grill some Cheez-Its for you, man. So you have some grilled Cheez-Its.
He said what not the grilled Cheez-Its.
Nah. Hey, you should make him a Cheez-It encrusted pork chop.
Oh no, he said last night he's gonna do what was that, Jeff? A shake and bake using crumbled up cheese. Like, okay, I did that for you.
And it's not hard to do because after you finish all the cheeses in the bag, there's always like a Cheez-It dust on the. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you could make it happen.
I'm gonna do a pork chop encrusted with Cheez-Its for you, just for you only.
Man. That sounds fun.
I love me some Jeff, man. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Use the Cheez-It dust as cornmeal. You know what I'm saying? Fry it, exactly. fry it in Cheez-It dust.
Have some Cheez-It macaroni and cheese, some Cheez-It potato sauce, some Cheez-It ribs, some Cheez-It chickens. Yeah, everything's Cheez-It.
Cheez-It chicken, Cheez-It chopped chicken.
Yeah.
Put some cheese. Oh yeah. Get some Vegemite Cheez-It infused breakfast.
Ooh, he said not the Vegemite infused.
Used.
Hey, I heard that's Jeff's favorite thing, Vegemite.
That's the sponsor. He was doing Dunkin' Donuts, but now he's gonna do Vegemite commercials.
Man, appreciate everybody, man, from the chat. Everybody, man, we appreciate you guys tapping in, arguing. You know what I'm saying? Going back and forth, showing that team spirit. We love that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait till it's real. Until, you know what I mean, we get ready for these games. But until then, we got y'all, man. We're gonna go through these struggles together and we're gonna shine together. So Chris, Juan, appreciate you guys coming. Raider Nation, can't do this without you. We love you guys until the next time. And we out.
Yeah. right.